before you, though.
Well, maybe
I
we'll
literally
figure out
went
the
one
end.
way.
You did.
Maybe we'll figure out at the end who is feeling the most dramatic with this particular game session.
Also true. We'll put a pin in this one.
I also wanted to say really quickly before we start, what is the schedule for next week? Everybody looking like? Because it's going to be 4th of July in Canada today.
I am off on Canada Day. I may not be able to play that night.
The 1st of next week?
Yeah, that's right. It's a Monday.
Okay.
Wait, what's the date of Monday?
July 1st.
That's our rah Patriot Day.
Oh,
Yeah, Monday's good for me. It's the Monday of the 8th I'll probably miss, though.
Monday is good for me. I don't have anything in particular.
Monday's good for me.
Monday's fine with me.
Yeah, I'm still on good Monday time.
The 15th I'll be out of July.
Okay.
We'll try to see if I can make Monday work.
If not, pardon me, eating. Having one fewer person every week for the next 3 weeks is also not the end of the world.
Yeah. It happens.
He says after watching hyper elaborate plans pop up in Discord all week. One less player wouldn't be so bad. This is appropriate casino music.
I know, right? Sling downstairs. Yes?
Did we get character questions this week?
Not this week.
You said you were doing it every week and then didn't the one before.
I was going to say I was going to do it
things.
sometimes. I say a lot of things.
It's true.
No. Character questions are normally when I'm going to be at a game where I don't think there's going to be major character development to make sure that we're doing it every single game. This is not one of those games.
Gotcha.
Last one. Ah, so good. All right, guys. Quick little recap. You don't need much because what you got from Morgaine was fucking incredible. But as of last week, half of the items that the Frog Prophet Vale had requested are now in your possession. The crown of King Iolaus III, and I say the word with air quotes because it's a warlord's helmet. Really the crown only of like a dead, arrogant tyrant. But either way, that crown was your first destination. And his mockery of you was proven fairly ill-advised when he was rounded upon like a child being scorned by a great aunt with a wooden spoon. Basically, we all remember that he was utterly defenseless compared to your coordinated assault. He was, however, regretfully close to getting the last laugh when none of you were able to sort of force yourself to touch the objects that were once in the possession of the cruel king. When at last everybody had expended their efforts other than Morgaine, the Warforged found that hoisting the ancient artifact was of no difficulty for him. And the meaning of this act and the joy in that moment of success were both quickly brushed aside as Morgaine's rough insistence that they'd gotten what they'd come for and no more and no less. So to this day, many fans speculate online that Eerie could have lifted the helmet because he's totally worthy, but he didn't want to embarrass Warren, who couldn't. That's sort of the canonical fan theory on the internet right now.
Makes sense. He'll do it. Yeah. He'll do it in the battle with Thanos.
Right. Right. He'll create his own helmet and just shout really loud. Yeah. Despite the distractions of the city gates and the long walk back through the wood, it gave our cast plenty of time to sort of share a few stray thoughts. Warren's complex theories about how the Fey bird from their past, the Feywild Maestro, had created images that were prophetic in nature. At least it had done so up until Shay's violent, vivid imagination saw to its sudden demise. And Morgaine was sort of at the center of the other sympathies, with both Shay and Kyvius becoming slightly emotional on the trip back. But your return to Highhelm saw the group split up, with Shay insisting that all of her business needed to stop immediately until she visited a location of great importance to her, and perhaps meet up with somebody who could help. Saigar traveled to the seedy underbelly of the city, where the Hooded Ranger kind of called in a favor owed in exchange for a blueprint of the city. He had been accompanied by Morgaine, whose sixth sense for trouble turned out to be a self-fulfilling prophecy when some unlucky thug decided to make a kind of a play for the helmet. There was only a single phrase uttered: "You should have brought more men." before the pair became a silent whirlwind of collateral damage. And so we start today's game session in the Clockwork Moon, the once sort of tinkering house facility belonging to an individual known only, apparently also only to Shay, as simply Old Man. And the rest of you have gotten a good night's sleep and have prepared for the following day, where you know that sometime around 7 or 8 o'clock this evening, it will have been 36 hours since the middle of noon the previous day, and you know that you've only got about 10 hours sort of before getting hoisted and pulled back. So it's around 10 o'clock in the morning. You know that the casino won't really open up until about 3 or 4 o'clock, giving you about 4 hours inside to make your place. Assuming, of course, that Javi can be even remotely counted upon, which is sort of a tenuous belief at best.
True.
When the doors, or when the game opens here, rather, I imagine that people are still sort of milling about the fairly empty Clockwork Moon. It's a quiet place. There's not a lot of sound of like things being built nonstop. No technology filling the halls here. With Old Man and Shay, who had basically been up most of the night because Shay doesn't really sleep that often, and Morgaine never sleeps. So really, the only sounds that you guys heard all through the night was just like the sound of quiet conversation between the two of them as they sort of shared a drink in the upper level. While the rest of you are basically sort of just using coals as pillows, essentially, and trying to get comfortable in a house that was never meant to be anything more than as far as you can tell, a single person's abode. When the morning rolls around, like I said, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, everybody sleeps passably well for those of you who do sleep. I don't know necessarily, Zect, if Shay would already be dressed in the attire that she was planning to wear for the day.
What time is this? 10?
This is around 10, 11 o'clock in the morning.
I'd just be probably just like around in like kind of like casual clothes.
For sure. Old Man has taken it upon himself to like go out that morning to find attire that is more appropriate for Shay, and also anybody else who had requested it. For those of you who are a little bit perhaps bedraggled from the trip into the actual catacombs, and of course Morgaine's arm and his upper shoulder is still just a destroyed wreck. Is there anything that you guys are doing before the return of Old Man?
Do you want to repair Morgaine?
Do we have the capability to do that?
In a short time.
I might be able to at least smooth out some of the metal.
Yeah, you do some kind of rigging. You're a master of this.
Yeah, just a bit of spit will probably work. He sort of slams on his shoulder a couple times.
I suppose we're in appropriate facilities, though, right? Like, I mean, they make things here. They probably have lots of supplies
This is a
and
workshop.
tools. Yeah,
Absolutely.
It is a
it's probably the very best place to get some repairs done.
Do we know enough about Warforged? Can we even replace parts of?
Oh, I know nothing.
that what
I was hoping maybe Shay could help out, or
I could
or
probably-
And again, Morgaine, I'm sorry to talk about you like an object, but just trying to help you out.
Well, I mean, like, inside of him is plasma, right? Like, messing with that would be real. Like, exterior, superficial stuff I could probably do. But, like, actually, like, in depth, I'd need a lot more time to figure that out.
Do you have any restrictions on your movement right now, Morgaine?
I'm sort of move my right arm around, sort of like in one of those like weird shoulder stretchy exercises, just to see the range of motion. I suspect like there's grinding, and there's a little bit of like nails on a chalkboard sound, but no restriction in movement.
Maybe all we need is some lube.
What?
What?
Lubricant for mechanical parts,
And
like
Oh.
oil.
how will that repair his arm?
We hear grinding noise, which I assume is metal on metal. If we're
You're
able to,
overthinking this. You just need to hammer it down a little bit.
No, I think Saigar is trying to tell us that lube helps with grinding.
Yeah, I think that lube does. Yeah, I think Saigar is absolutely correct. I think if
you,
we
you,
just,
you got me pinned down to a T.
I think if we just lube up Morgaine, this will all work out much better.
I do remember a mechanic saying you have to grind before you hammer.
Oh well, he's not wrong.
No, actually, could you do me a favor real quick, Bo, with your we test out how well your arm's still working. I hold out my sword and kind of lay it across like one of the anvils or one of the pieces of metal. Can you break this real quick? Just, many pieces as you can get it in.
This is to Morgaine, I assume?
Oh, sorry. I guess. Don't you need it?
Right, but I can bring it back.
Okay, then I'm gonna grab it. Instead of like striking it, the first thing we're gonna try is just like swing the thing down on top of the anvil blade, the edge of the blade straight in, as hard as I can.
Whoa! Okay. So normally, excuse me, I would not have you roll any kind of strength check or anything. Because, Morgaine is three-dimensional. He's not just a big fucking strength check machine. However, I did want to clarify that the weapon we're talking about today specifically is Warren's +1 Masterwork longsword that he acquired sort of at the start of the game. So because it is a magical weapon, that's a little bit more complicated. Definitely go ahead and give me that strength check. To just sunder a magic weapon with brute force, you'd be looking at DC 16.
Oh. So
I didn't even see your roll. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. As I strike it, it doesn't break. It actually just sort of reverberates on the thing.
No,
and you can hear the clatter.
Sorry, I was going to say that's all true, but it's not that it doesn't break. It also blunts the end extremely badly as it half twists, but doesn't shatter in pieces.
Now that's impressive. I've been using that thing for years, and I've never managed to more than scratch it.
Yeah, but this is an anvil. You cut soft things.
That's true. I just
take the compliment, Morgaine.
Now you don't want us to do multi-skill check, so I assume in this case, even if I tried swinging it again,
Probably
it would
not,
be 15. Okay, thank
you. I imagine this is a couple of attempts, and unfortunately no.
Perfect. I guess the only thing I could think of is if someone's good at the forge, they could try superheating it and hitting it with a hammer.
Could I give it a shot?
Give what a shot specifically? Just breaking the sword?
What are we trying to break the sword for again?
Warren wants his sword broke.
Yeah, no, if we're in there for an hour, if it's broken into lots of little pieces, I can bring it back. A nod, very modern manufacturing.
So then could I make a craft roll to see if I could deconstruct it with the intent
of experiment?
Sort of. So here's where it gets tricky. Now, if you were to fucking melt down the sword, that is going to prevent it from being be able to be reforged. Since it is a long sword, there is not a lot of additional breaking down of the sword that you can do. You can remove the guard and the hilt, but it's still probably not enough for what Morgaine is, or what Warren is looking for, rather. So a craft check to fucking melt this thing is also probably not going to do the trick.
What would be the check for this?
I didn't say there is a trick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Well, so wait, I'm sorry, and maybe I missed something. But what are we trying to break the sword for?
Warren just said, if it's broken, he can sneak it.
Right, it's now. Oh, so you can sneak it. Oh, you're trying to slurp it up.
Yeah.
You got where I'm going.
I see. Okay.
So after all this, after he asked me to break it, and Shade's like, "Fucking, there's nothing I can do." I just hand him back his blunted sword.
What if
sorry.
What if I tried using my Frostdrake Heart to super cool the metal and then shatter it?
That's interesting. You know what? I think I would certainly allow that if you want to make your Arcana check instead of a craft check. By all means, that's how we sort of stun things like that. And if you succeed on your Arcana check, then yeah, I would let you go ahead and make a second craft check on top of that. They would both be difficulty 15.
Welp.
Ooh.
So that's real bad. So Wild, your sword is broken. Not in the way that you were hoping for, because it's not to the point that you're really easily able to sort of reforge it. Because what he basically does is just makes it super fucking brittle, but then isn't really able to do anything past that in terms of actually, like, you know, sundering the weapon to a myriad small little parts. So it basically just sort of like twists and expands and freezes, and it has like a weird twist halfway down the blade, which is also blunted right now. And you certainly can repair this, you know, over the short rest, as you always do over the course of the hour, you know, to like remove that -2 damaged penalty. But for the time being, not only is it broken, it's also not broken into small enough pieces that is beneficial to you.
I sort of nod a little bit. No, this is closer. We got enough time.
As I
Warren,
see this
Warren,
unfold,
I'm sorry, Warren. Shit.
as Morgan sees this unfold, he's gonna wordlessly just take out his longsword and hand it over to Warren.
This is exactly how I expect all of your plans to go tonight.
Can I ask a question? How long does it take? How long does it take for me to enchant to create a magic item? Like, what's the timer on that? Because the thing is,
An extended, a long rest, so
extended
like
long
over the
rest. Okay, so I couldn't make
yeah.
another hidden weapon like
No.
Shay's. Okay.
No.
Oh, I am so embarrassed right now. Shay is just
So,
It's the non-stop ones.
like the last 5 rolls I've made. I think 4 of them have been ones.
So, one more thing. Just one last try of something before I just,
Are you sure you want to
Did
destroy any more objects around us?
No, I mean the same thing. I just set it down. Kaigus, can you just, like, shoot it with your hand lightning thing?
Or Eldritch Blast.
You want me to Eldritch blast
Yeah.
the sword?
Is that what it's called?
Sure.
I thought it was just like a fireball thing.
It was pretty cool.
I've got a fireball thing, but that's a little different. This is
Eldritch Blast.
this is the black lightning-y thing. Yes,
I just want to ask you a quick
probably-
question about
you've
Wild's
probably
plan, if
never
that's okay.
heard of it.
Uh-huh.
What's
Wild,
that?
I want to ask you. So just to clarify, that when your weapon is broken or damaged, you know it takes the full hour to recreate it from the fragment, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This is in case I
Okay.
never get the chance to have it again.
Got it. Understood.
Yeah. Even if I never get to use it in the casino.
He's
I
gonna
can
go
have
into
it
the casino and be like, "Hey, I got a poo. I'll be right back."
Right,
An
because
hour
they're
later.
going to relieve you of your weapons when you go into the casino. Got it.
Right. Okay, I'm blasting the new sword or the old sword.
The old one. I can make it new, but it's old now.
Okay, I suppose I could Eldritch Blast it. Do you want me to just roll Eldritch Blast for that deal?
Same thing if you want to go ahead and make an Arcana check to try to like deal damage to an object with your dark crackling lightning biome. Still
Dark lightning power.
Not the fireball, the dark crackling lightning, yes.
right.
The Arcana.
I believe we can break a sword in a room with no threats.
I'm skeptical. I can't see what I rolled. It fell behind the pictures, so I
It's
can't
a
see the dice.
13.
Oh,
Hang on for a
Fucking
split
going
second.
off the space on this shit.
yeah.
Tell me if this hits
It was a
your
4.
AC, Benji.
My
Oh. Yeah, does it hit your AC?
Yes.
You take 1 point of damage as one of the fucking shards from the blade like splinters off and gets you right in the cheek.
So it does break.
Just a little chunk of it, but yes.
No, that's
Yes,
fine.
yes.
I fucking reach over and take the shard. And I go, this is all I need.
Yes.
I like how I didn't roll a 1, but I get shards flying at my face.
This hasn't been a confidence booster.
We're PCs.
Erie,
We
could you
can't hit inanimate objects.
Erie, could you shrink our weapons so that we can carry them in as little trinkets?
I think we discussed that, right? It's
Absolutely, I can.
But then
can
they're
you then
stuck.
yeah can you make them bigger then?
If I feel like it.
I'm
That's
Um,
ominous.
I
That
thought
seems very ominous, Erie.
I-
Would you just decide in the middle of this heist that you would not want to make them bigger?
Jeez,
I mean, maybe.
but I don't think we're getting in the front door with our weapons, right? We're all in
What if
agreement
they're
of
shrunken
that.
though? I mean, how small
I'm
can they be
planning on
made?
it.
I don't want to risk it, right? We're going for a vault deep in the casino. What happens if they have magic that detects weapons or something inane like that? You know, if we set off alarms the moment we enter, everything's fucked.
I mean that's true, but my only problem with that as an idea is that we know that they have magical defenses, so anti-magical fields or magical detection would be going off all the time. If they were going to detect objects that were imbued with magic, it would be detecting magic all the time, right? Because the defenses are magical.
Yeah. But all I'm saying is maybe, if we had our gear shipped in by the actual casino for maybe a performance.
I have a plan.
Okay.
Since me and Warren are performing, right?
Yes.
We'll
Right.
get everyone's things they need in a box with us and take it in with us. And then sometime we'll drop that box somewhere off, maybe in like the bathrooms or something, and then you can all collect your things.
I have a question.
That-
I silly question. I have an implement. The staff isn't my implement. The stone is my implement. If my
yes.
if my stone and I don't think the Kyvius is going to leave that behind. I don't think he bygones. If it's shrunken, it doesn't make it any less effective, right?
Not even remotely.
Nope.
Why don't you just shrink it and wear it like an earring?
That's what I was thinking.
Eat it.
Just swallow it.
Or just like pluck out
Swallow
your
it.
own eye and
There's also the prison wallet.
That's actually we can get most of it. Then okay, Shay's got her hidden weapon, right? It's always hidden on her. I can use anything. If you get me a kitchen knife from a guard, I can use that pretty well. Anything. You and Erie both need implements that you can shrink. So that just leaves Morgaine and Sagar. We only need two things.
Well, I don't need anything.
You're pretty strong.
Arcane is a weapon.
So keep in mind, I have two weapons. I have the gracious bow that Kyvius gave to me, which I don't think I want to risk, but I do have my traditional longbow, and I can always leave that and try to use the shot of transposition on that. And if my bow shatters, so it shatters.
Oh, the
Yeah,
shard.
he's got the normie bow.
Shard's pretty good.
No, I'm not good in the magic thing. It's something I've never had a talent for. Do implements give off a magic aura at all?
not
Sealed.
really. They tend to be more connected to the person itself. Some implements, of course, are magic by themselves. Very clearly, the eye that Kyvius walks around with, for example, certainly is that criteria, where that would be magic, regardless if somebody was using it to channel magic or not. But most implements, for example, like Erie's holy symbol, are not,
Okay.
or whatever is Erie that Use actually uses. Which we never really talked about. Erie, what is your implement?
Just whatever I have on me.
No, I don't fucking think so.
Oh, boo.
No, what is the?
I made him an implement.
Yeah, I mean, I use the wand right now.
Okay. What was it before the wand?
Didn't have one before the wand.
Oh, you couldn't do any magic when you were part of Slam or Jam Dunk?
Well, it was just some sort of basic thing.
Oh, basic thing. Okay.
Busted.
I'm glad to hear it. Well,
I take the slightly fragmented frost crusted blade and just so what you got. I guess there's somewhere I can put this for now. Just put it back up.
Oh, okay, we have established though if we get locked in the vault, if we, I mean, we will lose anything that gets left behind. Are you okay with the sword? Are you recreating? How does
Oh,
this work?
So I hold up the shard and I put it into the other arm. Well, I got a shard of it now, and now it's part of me. So I can recreate it as long as I got that part in me anytime.
You could like grow
Ever.
another sword, just out of a piece of a sword.
Yep.
And,
Oh, that's gross.
no, I actually think it's kind of. I mean, like, if we shattered it into 10 pieces, could you grow 10 of those swords?
No, I wish it worked like that. No, there's a part of the way the magic works that sort of. So I can only do it with one thing, right? I make it a part of me like I make monster bits a part of me. And
Oh yes, we've seen that.
right, and I'm basically whenever it's shattered and taken away, I'm basically regrowing that part of me, but I can only do it with one thing. I can't do it with a bunch of stuff.
Strangest thing I've ever heard. It's
I
wonderful.
know.
Okay, okay, before
I guess
just,
that leaves the helmet though, and we can't leave it behind then. So guess I'm
yeah,
carrying it in.
well, if you wear it, couldn't it be?
Could we trust the old man with it?
Well,
No, we can't.
here's the problem. In the event that we have no system of egress from the casino, in the event that we cannot escape, our only option is Jovi's teleportation, which, cross your fingers you make it, guys. Good luck to everyone, right?
Right.
But in that instance, the helmet would be left behind with your. I suppose we could always come back for it later, couldn't we?
Do we want to trust it?
No, not with something like that. I think you get away with having it on, honestly.
Yeah, I mean it's not a weapon. Yeah, but however,
but it's very recognizable.
it's recognizable. Yes, I'm sorry. That's a good point.
Well,
it's
but
very recognizable. It's got a very iconic look to it, right?
You could probably use it to your advantage, though. If you and Kyvius are going for like a a statement, of your like prowess to the cause, having
like a
an item
declaration.
like that.
Yeah, like a declaration
Wealth.
of my riches or wealth. Yes.
Could we could we roll a stealth check to spray paint it?
to spray paint it.
I probably wouldn't advise that.
A different color. I mean, like, it doesn't have to be like it could be Morgane's color, right?
No, let's just start with the foundation that spray paint exists.
Planes exist in this
Let's spend a couple
universe,
hours
right?
do some shading. Can we get racing stripes on it? I want to go fast.
Lots of security cameras. I'm sure spray paint exists.
I think like when you try to put paint on but don't make the legacy check, it just like and like melts off.
I don't think this civilization has ever had need for like aluminum cans. Really, so there's not a lot of like bottled aerosol
I'm
based
sure
products.
there's paint in this world.
Oh, tell me about it. Who makes it?
There are carpenters in the world that make
Okay.
paint. I'm sure we
Which
can
ones?
Carpenters.
What are their names? Where do they live? You need to write these guys down.
Okay.
We're also in a workshop. You're telling me in a workshop there is no paint?
I'm saying that there certainly is paint, but there's not a lot of spray paint.
Let's not. I've disregarded spray paint. I'm saying let's just try to paint the crowd.
Yes, you can certainly purchase paints.
Also, I don't know, Shay. I don't know how handy you are with this. You're so talented with the mechanical situation. I was thinking if Eerie shrunk down my implement that I could maybe fasten it to a chain and wear it as a necklace. Can you make a chain? Is that something that you can do?
Yeah, that wouldn't be hard to do at all.
Okay. Would we need to spend any gold or anything, Steel, for him to make an enclosure for the eye?
Depending on the kind of check that we're looking at, it's going to take anywhere from like a couple of hours, but it wouldn't be impossible.
Let's see. It's 10 a.m. It doesn't open till
Could
3.
I
Yeah.
Sorry.
could I do the check to minimize time
Yeah,
taken to do
sure.
this? Like
Give
I
me a
think
quick
that
second.
I think that like a given would be that like making a chain with like just like an enclosure wouldn't be like a particularly difficult check,
No,
but
I agree with that. So let's say
because there is stuff I do want to try and make.
So we're gonna go to like standard like level 3. I know you're level 2, but like level 3 difficulty here, which would be DC 13 to be able to just succeed at all, and then it's gonna be DC 21 to succeed it within like. And before you roll, I want to say that as soon as you hit that fucking dice button, you are committing to this course of action. And for you to get less than 21 means that you're going to be spending like 3 or 4 hours on it. For you to do it with 21 or better means that about an hour.
So is there something more important that you wanted to put together just in case?
I was going to see if I could take the blood from Mother Dearest and the ageless caterpillar and make alchemist's fire and alchemist's acid.
Ooh, I like that too.
Like little vials of them.
Mm-hmm.
Tyvius, would you really need this in a chain? Could you
No,
not keep it in your pocket, or you swallow it?
I could, but yes, I could swallow it. But then, of course, if it grew to its original size, it'd be pretty
Actually,
interesting. No, the reason sorry.
I have an alternative. Can I use one of the bracelets that I have on as the like component piece and just like fasten it in there and give it?
What are your?
put
I'm
it
not
on
familiar with your bracelets.
It's like a bracelet that I made from the locks from the museum
Oh, that would work.
when we were kids.
Oh god, I fucking totally forgot about that. Yeah, okay, sure.
Okay, cool.
So you don't have to make a necklace. You're just gonna fasten it to an existing one.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a bracelet.
Yeah,
like,
but
if you want it,
that bracelet works. No, my idea was, if my thought process was, if they do have something to detect magic, and I've got like a mini stone sitting in my pocket, I'm gonna have a lot more difficult time talking my way out of that if they have some kind of detection. If it's like some piece of decorative jewelry or something.
Yeah,
like
this is
you
a
know what I
non-magic,
mean?
like decorative kind of piece that I have.
That's what I'm thinking. So if they're like, hey, there's a magical stone on that bracelet, I can say, of course it's magical. Do you see the way this item looks? It was enchanted to look beautiful. And then I get to roll bluff, and then because Steele always lets me do exactly what I want to do.
And then you'll join my Nat 1 train.
Steele didn't get to see me saying that through my teeth. Yes, exactly. Then I get to join that Nat 1 train. Exactly. Hopefully they just don't even care because it's tiny.
I have a
locomotive
going.
Yeah.
I certainly hope. I hope the magic detection isn't too strict because I don't know if you've looked, but if you really tap into that magical part of you, I'm a blue Christmas tree. Just all over.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but you're
Erie,
the
I would say
entertainer.
Erie is pretty magical too.
Here's the thing: we're in High Helm, okay? There are people of every shape and sizes, races of every magical inclination possible. I would only imagine that the denizens of High Helm, and given the melting pot and the refugees from where it is, it would be impractical to remove or exclude magical creatures from here. But what do I know? I've never been to a casino, so
Well,
this should be interesting.
a casino at the end of the day, its entire goal is to make money. They're not going to turn people away unless they're in dire threat to the place.
That's fair. Hadn't thought about it that way.
I think at some point we're just going to have to accept that there's a risk to trying to get our instruments in, and I suppose we'll take that risk.
This whole
So-
plan's a lot of risks.
About that paint,
Well, Morgaine owns the helmet, so it's up to him if he's comfortable with that.
Like a kind of like tacky like gold so that it just looks like a costume
Don't
piece.
you need like a special paint though for metal? Doesn't
Yep.
paint like slide off metal or something?
Listen, Zygar, personal experience, paint and metal don't tend to work.
I beg you to defer every carriage or car out there has paint on it.
Yeah, but that's like super lead, and that
What are
takes
cars?
hours to dry.
Hmm.
I think he'll be fine wearing it.
Could we? I'm sorry to keep harping on this, but could we potentially disguise it somehow by adding components to it or something? I just feel it's very recognizable.
I think it is too, but I think we have to lean into Or
Yeah.
cover.
I think here's the thing: if we try and paint it and someone recognizes the shape, then we're stuck describing why we painted it. If we walk in with it as one of, I think, yeah, we lean into it exactly like you said. We walk in with it. We say it's one of the riches we have plundered from High Helm, being that I own myself a Warforged. That honestly that makes me quite rich. And I could expound my virtue and what I've contributed to the car by discovering and plundering the riches of High Helm, and carrying about a symbol of their leadership, as represented. I mean, like, I know we're not going into like specifically car controlled territory, so I can't exactly be. But if the VIP situation or the manager situation, this is something that we could kind of sort of use as leverage to up the subterfuge, if you will.
All right, I digress, or rather, I defer to your judgment here, Kyvius. Just one last Hail Mary, though. Maybe covering it in tinfoil?
Dude,
I don't know. That sounds a little paranoid.
yeah.
So you're right. There's not enough technology in this world to make spray paint, but like a little tinfoil when you need to reheat your
Yeah.
leftover
In the microwave,
wolf
yeah.
honey and
Yeah.
lembas bread in the microwave. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. In the magic.
Whoa,
In
what
the
are you
magical
doing?
microwave.
Why would you put tinfoil in a microwave?
That's your takeaway.
Well, honestly, yeah. Honestly, that's your takeaway from this.
Listen. Ash has a plan, and he's just doubling down.
So, yeah, what's
But-
up, Morgan?
I will not speak more about this, though. Morgan, I trust you.
Before we start going on, does anyone have anything they need to prepare? Anything they need to destroy? Is there anything else we need to do, like for implements?
Yeah, hold up. You all have a change of clothes, right? Like, you're not going to enter the casino dressed like that.
To punctuate
Didn't-
Shay's thing, there's like a piece of leather that was like teetering on Morgane's shoulder, just falls off.
I also wanted to say that
Old man.
this is a conversation that Shay had last night with Old Man. She already fucking knows he's gone out to get a tire.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry.
Oh, I mean,
I'm
what's
good.
wrong with what I'm wearing right now? I think I look quite fetching.
I'm just saying.
You
Yeah.
didn't find me anything embarrassing, though. Did you?
You've been down. We were just down in a crypt, and just saying.
true.
Most of you could probably use a bath.
Give me 40 minutes in a bed sheet and I'll look right as rain.
Listen, Shay, I smell like honeysuckle.
Toga. Wait, do we know? Do they have facilities here that we could maybe wash up?
I'd imagine he has a bathroom.
I mean, like a bath or a shower. I don't know if there are magical showers or something.
Not really. No, it's a very very budget abode. It looks like.
So we should go find a bathhouse.
Why did I just shudder after you said that, Shay? I don't. It was like this feeling down the back of my spine.
As every member of the party got 1,000-yard stare with flashbacks. The boob was so large.
We should.
Listen. I'm just saying. Under all these clothes, we're all naked.
We should. The only
Interesting
thing I think
viewpoint.
we got to work out before is we're splitting up to do different things. We should have an idea of where we're gonna meet back up and what signals we're gonna use to communicate in case something goes wrong.
Caw!
Oh no.
I can make bird noises.
So I just to move back one step, I have a little difficulty going to a public bathhouse in High Helm, as you can imagine. So I can't
Right.
really take off my clothes in front of other people.
Can't really.
But so I would, I'll try and clean up here then because I can't. Yeah,
I could get you a bucket of water and a cloth.
that works for me. So sorry.
There's
My solution
there's
is
certainly
little
like a-
too intimate.
There's certainly a pump here. The fact that High Home is still built on top of quite a few different foundling stones mean that there is essentially like a power grid beneath the city that operates basic things like pumped water And especially with the forge here, cold water is like an essentiality for this operation to run, period. So there certainly is a couple of pumps
That's a good
and
point.
basically just water troughs next to where the forge is located.
Perfect. I'd wash up in that then. So I'm sorry to interrupt, Warren. What were you saying?
No, I just think since we're splitting up, it'd be good to know because we're gonna reconvene once. Me and Erie can't do nothing until the performance is over, so we're gonna meet up after that. But in between, if there's anything that goes wrong, might need
Yes,
some signals.
that's a good point.
I was thinking at some point we probably, if you're bringing in any gear with you, we might need to meet at some point at the VIP room, or if you guys are capable of carrying it to somewhere more discreet.
If we can, that's a good idea. I don't know what the restrictions are once you enter as entertainment.
That's fair.
We'll find that one out pretty quickly.
Like with me and Cavius at the very least, for signals of trouble, I feel, especially with us in the VIP, if you hear large bangs and maybe yelling, that might be just it.
For me and Erie, I think
Indicator, yes.
we're gonna sort of do distractions on a timer. Like once every certain amount of time within the performance, I'll use some magic to make an additional sound. That'll signal that we're about to be really distracting if there's something you wanted to do. Other than that,
While we're discussing this, would it be possible for me to do the thing for Kyvius?
Possible for you to do a witch for Kyvius?
The like attached gem.
Well, Erie would shrink it first.
She would have to shrink it, yeah.
I mean, that is so minor to the level of skill that your character possesses. There's no roll necessary. Absolutely, you're able to.
No, I'm just thinking of like I would want to utilize the time while we're discussing that.
No, for sure. I think there's no roll necessary, no additional time spent. This is absolutely within your wheelhouse for sure.
So then at the end of this, I'll give you back the bracelet, and you would definitely notice that like it is the like locks from the museum when we broke into it, and she had kind of like crafted it into like kind of like a decorative little like bracelet piece.
Like the locks from the door, or
yeah, the first two locks that we just dismantled.
That is so cool. I'm sorry, I'll say it in person. This is so cool.
No.
You're really talented.
You say that. Did kind of almost break his sword just a second ago, but
Well,
you
will
win some,
hit
you
and
lose
miss.
some.
as we go through the plan, we know what me and Cavius are obviously doing, and we know
Right,
what
but could we
Erie and
cover it
Warren are
again,
doing.
just for those of us who didn't do
Well,
the epic?
We'll
read?
get back
Okay.
to it.
Okay, sounds
Just a
good.
second. We need to definitely go over what Shay and Saigar are doing, because you guys will be instrumental of getting us what we need while we're causing the
Good
distractions.
yeah, I was about to say it's mostly me, Erie, Kyvius, and Morgaine are just cover. You guys are the plan, like pretty much.
Shay, I figure that maybe you'll be good at detecting traps and getting ours through, where I'll be kind of like the muscle behind you.
You and I will be, as we are the most sneaky, I guess, of the the group. We'll need to figure out who the prime targets are for like keys, information, what.
Do you have anything that you can mark
On-
targets with?
Well, on that point, before we start talking about targets, maybe we should discuss what we need and make a list out of that, and then sort of identify what the best targets for those needs are.
Warren sort of brandishes a list, actually, just not divided into who should do what, but a list of what he thought like we would need. So,
The plan.
right. Basically, the whole plan is to get a couple things. We need to know how the blast doors work, and if we can figure out how to close them, that's great. We need VIP access, to be able to move through that room. We need some sort of clue for the crushing trap or sigil to stop it. we need at least some sort of idea on what the hell is at the bottom with the vault, because there's some sort of spell on the door on the vault, but we don't know what it is.
If I can meet the manager, I mean,
Right.
could we turn this into like a full blown Ocean's 11? And
What's that?
Well, it's just
I thought there was like two oceans.
It's this phrase. It's this.
Oh man.
No, you're right. There is. It's this phrase that's commonly used, every once in a while. Like maybe I need to store something in the vault, and I can convince the manager to give me the information about security. Is the vault secure enough to store my belongings?
That's actually what I had in mind.
You could then.
Sorry, Warren.
You could then at least tell us what we're looking at.
Right.
If you've got any way to get any information out of the bigwigs or the owner himself, that would be amazing.
All right, that's what I'll try for.
The things that I think Saigon and Shay are going to be the best at is figuring out if that security arcane spell that looks, if it has a room linked to it in the building.
Oh, like a monitoring room?
Yeah.
Camera room.
They're the only ones who are going to be able to.
Like the manager's desk room or whatever.
Maybe it's there.
It would be highly secure.
Morgaine, do you have any clever ideas? I mean, because we're in High Helm. Those who are from the car can't, reveal themselves openly, right? Like, what do you think about how we identify ourselves or recognize others? Like what kind of passphrase could we use to let them know? Is there a saying that the car have, Steel, that, that could be whispered, that Morgaine and I would know?
Yes, absolutely. So each of the nations has kind of their own motto, right? You guys know that the motto of High Helm is "We are the gods between," believing that it's sort of the destiny of man to sort of choose their own fate, whilst trapped kind of between a rock and a hard place, as it were, but also between the planes of the heaven and then the lower realms beneath. So we are the gods between is what High Helm has always said, and it's kind of their kind of propaganda everywhere when you came inside the city. The Ka has one similar because when it was one of the big fundamental changes when they started to take over cities from High Helm rule, it became apparent that some of the citizens had gotten used to being able to sort of rally behind a powerful phrase or something, and the Ka didn't have that, so they created one. And it's sort of the motto that they don't really particularly care about, is only created for the sake of politics.
Mm-hmm.
But therefore, the matching logo possessed by the Ka is the sun doesn't care what it rises over.
Okay, cool. Super cool. Thanks.
I also wanted to just jump in really quickly here. I wanted to ask, so you snapped off the
Yes.
iris on the end of your staff?
Correct. So I would have removed it from the end of my staff, yes.
Okay. And then, Zek, basically you were just wrapping this chain around it, essentially kind of fashion a pendant?
I mean, like a bracelet, yeah.
Okay.
Making it part of the bracelet.
I wanted to
If
say
it
that
needs to be a necklace, then yeah.
Okay. I wanted to say then really quickly, as you are working on this, you can see just a brief moment where a little purple flame licks up from the top of this stone that you're working on. And you get the feeling that perhaps it's not sentient, but certainly the magic in this item is reacting to you. Does it deter you at all?
No.
You essentially ignore this, and then a few moments later, it starts to sort of grow with its own sort of internal heat, as if protesting you even touching it at all. And black eldritch energy, the same kind that Kyvius has used before, shudders over the surface for a moment. Do you stop now?
My eyes flicker to meet Kyvius's.
I've never really done that before, but I've never really
And
let
then
anyone
we
else
keep
touch
going.
it before. Oh god.
Okay.
Maybe
Then when you turn back to it, immediately a blast of eldritch, the exact same that Kyvius has done before, hits you right smack dab. Which hand were you using at this point in time, left or
Left.
yeah, just right in your left middle finger. Does 27 hit your fortitude?
Oh god, yeah.
You need to go ahead and make a saving throw. I'm not going to tell you what it's for. But you remember you succeed on 11 to 20.
You just roll
so
a d20.
Just roll a d20, nothing adds to it. Just a 50-50 basically. Okay. It sort of like settles down after dealing a 6 point of damage to you. But you can tell that there is some kind of like inhuman rage beyond the veil for whatever this thing is.
Okay, so I didn't know that was going to happen. I have to apologize. I'm very sorry. Your bracelet is
I'm like,
so cool.
It's really kawaii.
I'm gonna hand with like one, like finger, it's kind of like dangling off. I'm gonna like hand it to Kyvius, and then as he like takes it in his hand, I'm gonna grab his hand and pull his his ear closer and be like, you and I will talk about this later.
Okay. Again, really sorry. The bracelet looks amazing.
Oh, it does. It absolutely does.
I will be
It
so
accents your wrist
fashionable.
so well.
Yes. Thank you.
All right,
And then
Kels. What was that, Cass?
Is that flirting?
That's what I thought he said.
Odd couple.
I just shake my head slowly.
Shay.
No.
Is the old man trustworthy to leave my regular longbow here?
I would trust him with my life.
I mean, he has.
I mean, like,
he's
I mean,
given us
I mean, like,
advice on how to. He's
in a roundabout
practically
way, I
complicit.
can have.
So I touched the shard of transposition that I have in my inventory against my basic weapon, not my nice longbow that Kyvius has given me, and
Okay.
I say the word Smaragdine.
Ooh, okay.
That's my catchphrase I can use to bring my longbow to me.
Smirgdine! Got it.
Smaragdine.
So, no. I could tell by the way the old man, those kids, he's got his own agenda. If he wanted to get rid of us, he could have.
Did you finish going through your list, Warren?
Oh, yeah, no, and for anyone out of game, if you want to scroll up to read our outline, which we're adjusting right now, it's not very high up in the Nerds Playing Pretend, just a couple little scrolls.
No, I've been. Yeah, it's real close. If you want to have a reference on everybody's job.
Yeah. We're fleshing it out a bit more, but that's sort of.
For those who are watching on stream, here, let me show you that Wild wrote a thesis on how we are going to break into a casino, which is what we're referring to.
So, while we're continuing talking, would I be able to like spend the rest of my time making the alchemist's acid and fire from the two bloods that I picked up?
So here's what I'm thinking, okay? I really love you being able to like turn these things into magic items, but I don't believe that either Mother Dearest's blood or the Ageless blood would be either used to create a potion of acid or sort of like flame.
Okay.
I think that those both make a lot of sense, but the pure-blooded Jinn are not intrinsically fire-based by themselves, although certainly we might be bumping into some creatures here soon that are. The chain devils that you saw in the Ka, that certainly would be the case as well. That would work absolutely. But the ageless divine blood would not have particularly acidic properties, I would
what would the properties potentially be, if any? Or just blood?
Blood? I think that would be something that's probably, again, sort of outside your character's wheelhouse a little bit. I think that definitely if you would like to start experimenting with potions, we can definitely do that, but probably not in this moment without it being part of the
then I won't do anything with it, and we can talk about it later.
For sure.
What about the astral silk that you have?
Well, I was planning on making some really nice shoes for myself, but I guess I could make like a bag or something. But
if you make a bag of holding, could we not hide our items in there?
That'll take a little bit of time.
It's also unfortunately true, and I hate to be the guy that says this, but despite the fact that we have been talking about what incredible talent Shay possesses, Shay doesn't yet know how to actually form truly magical items where you're weaving residium into like a complex ritual as part of the creation of an item itself to create things like a portal to another dimension from some silk. that would require learning the actual corresponding ritual, which Shay has not yet done.
Understood.
If we gesture around and look at the environment, that Shay is part of, you look around in the workshop. This is not a magical place. This is a
No.
place where you turn metal into things that metal you wouldn't have ever thought could be turned into.
It's very low tech.
Yeah.
At this point in time, Old Man does return. He's got 4 or 5 like containers worth of stuff, and he sort of takes Shay aside to let you know that the arrangements have been made, and you guys have a spot where they have. He wasn't sure exactly what your act was going to be, so a magic show or a comedy routine of some type going on stage right at the turn of 5 p.m. essentially. And on top of that, has managed to procure a couple of outfits. Nothing, unfortunately, he says with sort of a glance towards Morcane. That's going to do for that brute.
I think I can cover him. Would I be able to like kind of just try and like kind of like bang some of the metal like smoother and then kind of like polish it so that it at least looks a little bit more like not like he is walking around like he's been through like a can opener.
No, the Caw love that.
So just a quick bang and shine.
All right. I mean, it's up to you.
And you brought it back.
Like we can. It's probably better to have not grinding. At the very least.
I mean, you could fucking snazz them up, but again, when we're working on limited time, just be aware that you're looking at a couple of hours towards this activity.
Like I'm not looking at like repair. I'm thinking like just a functional slam thing is what would need to be done. Like just something to make it so like the jagged parts wouldn't fucking stab someone's eyes out that walks into my
just by standing like an inch from him or like bumping into him.
So what you could do, Shay, I would allow you with this time period that we have right now, if you wanted to like open Morgane's sort of cranium and scoop all the shit out fucking in there, there would be enough room to fit Eerie inside there that could do a whole Ratatouille thing. You can do that in a couple of hours.
No, thank you. Okay, I'm fine.
I'm mortified.
I reach for Eerie.
His eyes have probably stopped glowing. But...
I missed. So, what did Old Man bring back for Morgane? Just some leathers or
anything? No, just full outfits, and some of them are a little over the top. He and it's only 4. Again, nothing for Eerie because anything in his size. Nothing for you because nothing in his size. Perfect. But there's a couple of other outfits where he passes over to Saigar. Like some hair gel and a comb and this beautiful green blazer with like turquoise studs all over it and some matching green pants. Very, very much noble's attire unless you look too long at the costume jewelry. And for Kyvius, he hands over basically like this elegant looking cape, the kind that Edna would shake her head at. And basically pants that if you wanted to basically go shirtless just with this cape flowing in the breeze behind you, it's sort of more traditional, like look at my ring style attire, but then he wasn't sure about that one. For Warren, it's kind of something that you think that perhaps like a drow priestess might wear if there were drow super populated in this world, where the way that it spreads out at the base into like a long tendrils of cloth sort of reminds you of like a spider style attire where the arms are bare and then underneath the actual like jacket portion itself, which flows around like this long tattered trench coat jacket. It's like a white like button up suit that's tight enough that it's almost like a corset. But it really would accentuate his very masculine elf figure.
It would make him look a little.
Yeah. We all know what you're doing, Steel.
He has a girdle.
You just gave Warren a bosom.
And the last one is a very. It's a lot more clothes than Shay normally wears, and that's how you can tell immediately that it's for you. Where it's multiple layers, where it becomes like this complex red and pink petticoat, where it's almost like if you were to take off the top couple of buttons and like slut it up a little bit and then kind of shove it off the shoulders, maybe it might kind of look like you were like an upscale geisha. But he gives you a whole bunch of also like nice costume jewelry to go with it, and then to top it all off, a rose that it has a clip on the back to be worn in your hair. And he looks up at you and says, "You would look beautiful."
Oh, thanks.
Sure.
It's really
Is it an
sweet.
evil rose?
If you
I'm just gonna give like a Saigar the kind of like slap on the back of the like really.
Saigar. So I imagine that you've all taken the time now to speak about the important. You okay, Benji?
Oh, sorry. Oh, my mic was on. Sorry, I accidentally
It's
clicked
okay.
on something and
So
everything
good.
went nuts. So I've got to
Okay.
fix it.
The important factors of the heist. You've examined the location itself, the security, the targets, what your plan of escape is, the payoff, and most importantly, what the policy is going to be on stealing other items and how it's going to be split. Yes.
not the last thing.
And we sort of figured that out after.
Not the last thing. I hadn't even thought about that.
Like we're in for the lamp. Like I don't care about anything else.
Well, once we're already there, though.
If there's other things that could be useful, I have no problem with absconding with some extra incentive.
After all, our motto is steal from the rich.
We're
To
we're
feed
already
us.
we're already robbing him. We're not gonna rob him worse.
Well, how about we lay down this policy? Take what you want, as long as it doesn't compromise our goal.
Oh, absolutely. No, highest priority is the lamp. Bar none.
Past that, I don't care.
And he
Play some cards at the table and you fleece them a little, you know.
Don't bring attention to yourself. We need you to be quiet, Shay.
well, no, sorry. Continue,
Not like
old
don't
man.
talk right now. I mean like quiet as in stealthy.
I kind of give Shade a little bit of a side eye at that point.
You sound like you've got it all figured out, he says, at least with a bit of a nod. And at the very least, the six of you look like you're capable of thinking on your feet or wings.
This is going to be challenging. It should be
It was
interesting.
difficult to. It was weird to form a plan because I kept coming back around and realizing that the thing we're actually best at is brute force.
Yeah. Well, listen, we haven't had much chance to flex our subtle muscles. This is going to be interesting. Well, it's a learning experience.
And after this experience with the sword, maybe we should explore other avenues.
But
Right, we should become proficient at things other than blowing up inanimate objects.
just last thing before we go, Erie, could you shrink my shield into a dinner plate so that I don't lose it while we're going?
Sure, it'll still be just as heavy though.
Oh, great!
That actually sounds really great. You're gonna fucking hit somebody with it as like a frisbee.
Yeah, no, I immediately like. Oh.
That's exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, sorry.
It's become easier to throw.
I just really wanted to finalize old man here. Like as you guys are prepping, he turns towards Shay and then says, "So, when's the next time I'm going to see you?"
I don't know. Um, it's possible that we don't return immediately tonight. But I promise that I'll be better and not disappear for a decade.
He shakes his head. He goes, "I'm not asking you to promise to be better. First of all, you wouldn't keep your promise to begin with, and also, I'm not. You're already wonderful. What I am asking you to acknowledge is that it's been 6 years since I've seen you last, and I won't be around 6 more years from now.
What do you
So
mean?
come back safe. I'm not the young man I once was, Jay."
And she'll just kind of like, I promise.
You don't have to promise, you just have to remember. After all, you and I have always shared the same core belief that the most important thing in the world is to be surrounded by family. I wish you all the luck in finding your friends. Don't underestimate your current ones. And for goodness sake, eat something. A little.
I will agree to that.
All right.
And finally, he says, with taps his nose, don't forget what I said last night. Your group needs a leader, and a leader is the person who is the last word. So you speak second and last.
All right. I gotta go get changed. Freshen up like a lady or something.
Fair.
Well, we all know what we're gonna do. Let's meet up here in an hour.
30 minutes.
Well, I know Kyvius needs to do a bath.
Just gonna get some moist towelettes and just wipe down.
I need to at least attempt to look like someone important.
That's fine, he says, and he holds up another bag, and you can see there's like big mucusy things moving around inside, like climbing up the side of the bag. He goes, lunch will be ready in about half an hour anyway.
Oh God.
I'm going to step outside and perhaps stop at a McDonald's.
In his car.
McDonald's, tinfoil, spray
car.
paint, like
He's gonna go through the
Ash's-
drive-thru.
Yeah,
Anachronism,
Ash's
sorry.
character is definitely from the future. We figured it out.
that actually. It's been
There
in
we
front
go.
of us all along. Yep.
No, it's Sliders. He's just from another dimension. He's trying to fix the timeline.
Anyways, that sounds wonderful, man.
Or quantum leap.
Looking forward to the grub.
I think if nothing else, we just sort of prep and
I'll
Yeah,
leave
pretty
my
much
sword
prep
and
time.
shield behind because we won't be able to sneak that in likely.
Mhm.
So, just of note.
I mean, I
Okay.
could shrink it.
Like you can, but I'm not gonna carry it on my person. I'm already gonna have enough attention because I'm a fucking warforged.
I'm carrying it with our stuff.
You can if you want.
sure.
Ari, if you don't mind shrinking my good longbow, I'm going to try my shard of transposition just in case, though.
You know, shrink his bow and whatever else he needs shrunk with him.
Okay.
So now you have a Yuri-sized bow.
The magic show shall feature miniature dolls attacking each other with small weapons.
Cool. Is there anything that I should know about in this half an hour of what you guys are doing beyond that?
I think it goes without saying, but we did take the old man obviously up his offer to get Erie and Warren in as entertainment. I don't think
Yeah.
we specifically had that conversation. Just making
So
sure.
he wasn't able to like slot you guys in, but he certainly made it a point that basically at the time that you are going to arrive, their 5 o'clock is going to cancel abruptly, leaving basically like them desperate for a replacement.
Okay.
Cool.
So the way that we'll
Got
do
it.
this then is it's the 3 groups. So
Yep.
we'll do Kyvius and Morgaine as
Yeah.
like a Ka and his thing. Saigar and I will pretend to be a couple.
Actually, I think it would be so. In the planned scheme of things, how I think the order would go is you have Shay and Saigar arrive independently. You then have Erie and Warren arrive as entertainment, and then Cavius and Morgaine arrive last
That works.
to
So
stagger the entrance.
Saigar and I will enter separately then, because yeah. But we'll go first so that we can at least start observing.
Yes.
Yeah, get a
I just want you guys to know that I'm basically just blanking out on any of the conversation right now. You guys are basically just going to tell me what happens when we get there.
when we
Yep.
gotcha.
We're organizing
Also, quick
all that
reminder.
stuff.
Quick reminder that you got those hero points, and if you need to private message me something during the session about something that you have done off screen, certainly by all means.
Oh yeah, you'll get like 4 of them when we fuck up.
Yeah,
the
for sure.
second we
Yeah,
enter the
I'm not using it beforehand. I'm holding on to that thing to save my life.
Yeah.
I keep like misreading, I think, like the scope of the hero point. It's like if like it's not like a role replacer. Yeah.
Not a role replacer. You can take another standard action on your turn in combat, or you can make a modification to a scene within reason if you run it past me first.
Okay.
What
Right,
is
outside of
within
combat, it's more
reason?
about the
We'll
scene,
talk
right?
about it. Yeah. Was there anything else we need to talk about before I starting to sort of advance to the actual casino? What do you guys want to finish finalizing and planning?
I feel like this is that moment in the video game where it asks you, "Are you sure you want to continue?"
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm getting nervous all of a
You're,
sudden.
you're about to leave this area for good.
Like, okay, you're giving me that warning. I need to go to every single map and to every single corner to make sure I didn't miss a secret room somewhere. It's making me nervous.
I
When
feel
you
like
start this quest, many cutscenes will play in sequence. Make sure you have time to sit and just watch
Yeah.
shit
Should we-
unroll.
Should
But
we?
can I skip them?
It's
there's-
11:20. Should we take a quick like fiver for bathroom and beverages? Since we're gonna be
Yeah, we'll take a quick fiver now and then go for the rest of the game sessions. Be at 25 back after, guys.
that's
Sounds
okay.
good.
All right.
Thinking out loud. Cool.
Do me and Warren have top hats? This
I
is
use my
important.
I use my hero point to skip cutscenes.
Fucking okay.
I kill all of the NPCs.
So bad.
Oh, be right back.
I was really debating whether to talk to the old man, but I didn't want to fucking have another scene where we talk to an NPC after planning for an hour.
We are terribly guilty of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
What-
now
what
that
do you wanna
now
ask
that
them?
now that we've run out of your dialogue options, let's see how good you are at improv.
What did you want to talk to the old man about?
Nothing very specific. I was just gonna ask him, like, fucking, if he'll be okay. He's making weapons for the war. Nothing related. That's why I was sort of hesitant, because it's literally nothing related to the casino. It is
I think he's already bid us adieu already, so I think it's kind of hard to go back to him and talk to him again. He's already done this. I bid you farewell.
I'll go to the bathroom and get another drink.
Hey, I'm back.
WB.
What?
What?
My fucking chair is so annoying.
Do you feel the foreboding in the air?
No, I'm actually excited. I'm ready to like see the casino scene and
Very
everything.
excited.
Yeah.
I have been stressing about this plan so much. I just want to do it. I just want to fucking like have this happen.
Yeah.
I don't like any of the maps that I've made for the casino except for one of them. One of them is fucking rad as shit, and it's the least likely of the ones that you guys are going to actually see. So I've only got. We're not going to display any of the maps for these areas unless you guys are basically going to be fighting in these maps, or of course the vault. We're going to reveal the vault as a physical map.
The kitchen, isn't it?
Like yeah, like I've got
kitchen.
like I've got a kitchen map and I've got the main floor map and stuff, but I don't want to show them unless we actually get into fights in these locations. I'm just hoping we can. Yeah, you'll never see them.
That's where the magical frying pan is.
Fucking know it.
That's how we were
for
gonna have a
reference,
cook-off.
is the Excel sheet I made close enough that if people
Spot
just
on.
want to be looking?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I've got like that open, and I mean, me and Erie are staying on the stage the whole time. If anything, we got the easy part of this plan.
Okay, so while we're all like sort of here, so Ash and I have come up with a system to send messages based off of what's going on in the casino that you all can visually use based off the drink that we have in our hand. So if somebody has red wine in their hand, it means that they feel like they're under threat of something.
Oh my.
Oh, okay.
White wine will. I'll write this in the channel in a second here. But white wine will indicate that we are in the clear so far, and that we're green. If you see like a fine ale, we've identified important things that we need to get.
My fucking god.
Let's see, a clear glass with like scotch or something.
That's not really clear glass anymore, but yes.
Like a scotch glass, like a not like a mug for ale, but like a liquor glass.
Sure.
Will be. Do you have something that you need, Ash? Or
If this goes wrong, they'll find us by all these glasses of undrank
yeah,
No, listen, two taps to the head and one tap to the elbow. That's like baseball
what
signs.
what if we're not in close physical proximity?
So this plan is pretty good if you're talking about your characters are going to be raising these glasses with as a signal. I thought it was you, the player, was going to be like, fucking go get a white wine in the kitchen.
It's the characters.
But the characters, which makes it.
I thought Zephyr was describing all the beverages he had in front of him at that moment.
No,
Raise
I do,
any
but...
of them to signal the cast.
Well, no, like the characters would see, like Shay holding like a glass of red wine. That feels like she's in deep shit right now and needs like.
Write this down.
I'm writing stuff down as well. Clear glass of scotch is. We've located the treasure.
We should have a signal. We should have a drink to signal that we are good to go.
Champagne is we're good to go.
I dig this. This is pretty
and we need one final one, which is we are nuking the bloody place.
Me and Erie will never be able to see one of these signals.
Champagne is we're good to go. Like start, making your way towards the group.
And I think Sambuca is nuke the place.
How the fuck will you identify if it's Sambuca or not?
When you say meet towards the group, would you intend to mean towards the elevator? Like we have what we need to go?
Yes, near the elevator, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Champagne is like I'd say start making your way towards like where we know the vaults are.
I suppose red wine would be kind of like the we're about to get into a firefight, basically.
We could do red wine as a signal that there's like somebody's caught on or like there's a threat. Like we're on alert.
We're also aware. Me and Erie are stuck on the stage until the performance is over. We can't like leave.
I know.
Right, but you could still see us at the bar, though.
Yeah. Kind of.
Where I see this coming into play is like they've sort of commingled and after your stage performance, they are the conductors of our group. They're gonna, with an unseen hand, conduct us towards the elevator after we have everything.
No, we do need one that's the escalation after red wine, because if it turns out we need help, we need to let Warren here go. Drop every fucking thing and just come and help us right now. Flaming Sambuca?
How about a flaming shot?
Something on fire.
So
Yeah,
flaming
pretty much.
shot. Flaming shot is shit is hitting the fan.
There we go.
All right.
And then
Can
what
be
else?
used as a weapon too.
I'll post this to the
Good.
Discord.
That'll be good.
What else?
I'll need a list.
If we're separating from the group intentionally,
This is a lot of signals.
This is
Yeah.
okay. I understood like a couple of them, but like I'm gonna have to make a fucking intelligence check if you grab a glass of water because I don't know if you're just thirsty or if I need to escape through the roof.
Oh my
Alright,
god.
that's what we got.
Okay, wait. Before we commit to
Cigars
the
are
quest, before we commit to the quest, we need a light in the darkness to be able to summon Zagglebite. Do we have that component?
Shay, you have your battery, don't you?
yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
And Shay can go to the Shadowfell if we need to. So we have the light in the dark.
Well, like, is it light in the darkness consumed in the spell?
It is not.
Because like I'll point at my eyes and then give a little wiggly brow.
I'm still
A wiggly
Well, we're just kind of vague on it though. We've only. Your eyes might work though. Maybe it's just a torch. Like we just light a one silver piece torch.
We're overthinking the fuck out of it, and it's just like just have something that's on fire.
A sun rod.
Javi had told you a long time ago that like a lot of rituals tend to use like metaphorical statements just as often as they do actual component pieces.
Yeah.
At Javi.
That's Javi.
Yeah, then when we
No,
were in the desert.
I've changed it slightly. It's not a cigar; it's a martini. Is intentionally going to is that you're headed to the VIP room. There we go.
But then when we tried to use the metaphorical light in the darkness whenever we were chasing after the train, it didn't work. Fuck it, Javi.
It's entirely possible that it, just like Javi's other things, it's not that we failed the check so much that it's just unreliable.
Can I make one critique, Izek? The we've located the lamp likely won't come up until we're already out of the view of everyone.
Also true. Clear Scotch glass will be
Located the security room.
Yeah, Well, we need the key, right? We need a key or the security room. It can be one of those.
Yeah, we can likely get through with one. Getting through without either is gonna be a problem.
Yes.
we've located what we need to disable or like found in the security room.
That's fine.
That's like our linchpin. We need that.
Yeah, that is uno. Everything's for that.
That and the blast doors, I'd say, are the two most important. Like, if as soon as we get in, if someone can run like a detect magic on the doors to see if they're magic or mechanical, that would solve a lot of questions.
Your detect magic's good, right, Cavius?
It is.
Okay, so like when we get in, just doing a quick. Well,
Are
is that
we-
a spell?
I guess that's a good question, Steele. Like, when it comes to detect magic, is it like, do you think of it like the fifth ed spell where you sit down and focus and it like creates this thing where you can see magic, or is it just you have a better like detect magic, you can sit there and figure out more with an arcana? How does it work?
So you can roll Arcana to become aware of magical effects or auras, and the difficulty is a secret, and it's based on your check result. And then the higher your check result, the greater the distance that you're able to tell, and their likely power source, whether they're primal or arcane or divine. But it's something where you have to focus on, but not at the cost of other people not being aware. Like you don't have to meditate or anything. You
Gotcha.
just have to sort of
Okay.
like branch out your senses a little bit.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Perfect. That's exactly what we need. Especially if our plan goes and we make it to VIP. You'll have a pretty close proximity to that keypad.
Mm-hmm.
It works out either way, right? Because if they're magical, there's likely something we can do about it, and if they're not magical, they're less of a.
Yes. I think that's everything, or else we're just going to be stuck in circular.
Yeah,
logic.
yeah.
We're gonna
Yeah.
talk ourselves in circles until we get to it.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Let's jump in the cold water.
Just can't hide it.
Cool. So we're all good to go then?
As ready as we'll ever be.
Cool.
Alright, cool.
You guys start making your way back through Highhelm towards sort of the shittier districts of the town once more. And just like we had talked about before, you kind of make your way past that old rundown in the Whetstone, where there's like a couple of dwarves inside there that are just trying to get people ready for the day. You don't leave without Old Man, first of all, saying goodbye and giving you all basically a packed lunch, which turns out to, it looks really, really, really good. It's like a little bento box style thing that's got, because food is super scarce and you can tell these are extremely small portions. They won't sustain you for the entire day, but it's really all you're going to get for the day were it not for the buffet that you're going to discover at the casino. But it's really not a lot. And so it smells unusual. It's like an omelet that he tells you just basically like hawk eggs. And there's a little cut up like pickled mole roast cutlet tossed in there as well for some flavor. And the whole thing is kind of covered with this thick gray, almost like a gray syrupy gravy, which he refers to snail chutney and butter. And it is certainly stomach turning, but again, it's sort of the only food that is available there for the day. So I imagine that some of you at least, try to down this as you go.
I can't taste. I eat it.
I go for it.
I also have the half a fruit from the frog still.
Dad made me a packed lunch, and I will eat it.
You also have the mushrooms, which I'm going to say that if they're not consumed within the next 40 hours or so, they're going to start to go bad.
Do not eat them before the heist.
Not eating the mushrooms.
Or eat the mushrooms during the heist.
Maybe just take one to take the edge off.
No,
no.
I'll eat the rotten. I'll eat the fruit before it goes rotten.
Okay. And we talked a little bit about how the devils do. When you get down there, you end up going past the museum at one point in time, and it's a very neglected neighborhood. But despite that, there are crowds of participants and spectators who are milling around on the street, or they're filing together through the main double doors. And some of the bits of conversation you can hear is talking about how earlier that day at the Devil's Due Casino, people left earlier with literally thousands of gold pieces. And in the sort of the exterior of the casino itself, which is spelled K-H-A-C-No, absolutely right, there's certainly a few indications that there has been some attempts to kind of make this place a little more classy despite the area of the town it's in. There is this extremely beautiful fountain that the water has somehow been magically dyed gold, so that you get the impression of these 3 or 4 angelic figures whose bodies are covered in rings, just like the slaves of the Ka, are just pouring out this golden water that streams down the side of this fountain. And there is a catapult that is parked outside that is among the rest of the traditional vehicles, where there is carriages here and there and so forth. But there's also just a full trebuchet that is parked in a VIP parking spot. And overseeing this gathering at the front gates is this 8-foot tall statue cast in gold of the proprietor. It is showing kind of an elf who's got a little bit of a round belly pudge. He is smiling smugly, like all elves do, as if he is personally enjoying the crowds that go shuffling past the doorway. Excuse me. Sorry, died.
Glad you
and the statue takes personal excitement in the crowds that are trying to just get into the doorway beneath this gambling hall's gilded dome. The only part of the statue that's not made of gold is due to a half a dozen glittering gemstones set into the statue's ring, which is sort of which a not so subtle rogue is kind of busy trying to chisel out while he's pretending to inspect the statue appreciatively. Just like before, you're stuck in this line for a good 5-10 minutes before actually getting through the double doors.
I love the fucking rogue trying to pick stones out.
Right out of a statue. Yeah, that guy's losing his head.
A level 1 PC.
Just remember too that we split up, so our entrance is staggered.
Yeah, absolutely. Who is the first kind of group to get in there?
I'm going first.
You and Saigar?
We determined that Saigar and I would enter separately still.
Separately, but I will be going in with Shay, but not directly with Shay. So it'll be A little bit, a few, maybe
Sure.
minute after Shay.
Not enough for me to like separate your guys' introductions though. So when the two of you are the first ones in, you're the first person to sort of see what is inside the main doors of this lobby. And the first thing that catches your eye is that there are two sultry. They are beautiful, but certainly only if you have a thing for very underfed people. Where there is certainly this indication that perhaps they have this particular position because of them being borderline starving here in High Helm, and their figures show it. But they are scantily clad. They are wearing these faux bat wings, kind of cute little devil horns that are clearly like not intended to be tiefling horns. And they've got tails that peek out sort of the back of their attire. And they are clearly playing the part of being like alluring succubi. And both of these people are employees of the Devil's Due, and they are busy just cheerfully registering contestants for the night's gambling. And they're processing entry fees. It is 100 gold pieces per registered group and your soul.
And your soul.
Yeah. When you and Saigar get to the front, are you going to register as one group and pay 100 gold pieces for the two of you?
Do we? How much do we?
And your soul.
And your soul.
This is to
I'm
enter
gonna-
into the casino.
Yes.
This is like a cover charge then.
It sounds like exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think we thought this through very well.
Most people
Well,
come through in
yeah.
groups in order to make sure that management can, like, accommodate tables a little bit better. And also for the exact reason that you guys are trying to split up, is because specifically they want to make sure that if there is any troublemakers, they can expel them and all of their accomplices. Beyond, while you're pondering this, and as you get closer and closer to the front of the line, it is also very clear to you that there are two actual legitimate demons who are guarding the door to the rest of the entry casino. And while the music is very high and exciting in here, and you can tell that there's a voice on stage. It's like, and now for our next act, the Fae Fighters, and there's like a whole round of applause. There's very clearly signs that they are prepared for trouble, where these two chain devils are hidden basically beneath armor that makes them kind of look like a traditional, like, Japanese yokai onai sort of character, where they have like the helmets with the broken horns, and for weapons they are each wearing a cudgel at either side, like a pair of tonfa, two big heavy clubs that they are prepared to use as weapons, instead of using, as you know, the chains that cover their bodies that is hidden beneath the armor.
I've just pinged Ash. Ash, do you want to go with that?
Yes, do it.
All right.
No plan survives first contact with the enemy.
Nope. All right. So Shay is wearing the dress that old man had gotten her. It's like a very very tasteful, but you can tell that she like modified it just slightly to like make getting chastity out of her chest a little bit easier. Like it's kind of like a little bit lower cut now, and she had spent a little bit of time just kind of like doing some like seamstress work. Like the back is kind of like exposed just a little bit more, and you can see like the giant tattoo, frankly, that's on her back of like just kind of like poking out. It's on one half, the left side is an angel's wing, and on the right side is a devil's wing, and both are kind of like wrapped in chain that is running up like the spine of her back.
Remember how I made the joke that like even after you slut it up, it still kind of looks somewhat fancy, despite your best efforts.
So Shay goes up with she pulls Saigar like to like hold her arm. And she's got like a handbag, some like gloves on. Well, I do declare, Mr. Darjeeling, let us sign up for this festivities tonight.
Absolutely. I put on a bit of a French accent. Oh, yes, Madame Winterbloom, we shall go to the front.
You're never allowed to make fun of my Indian accent ever again. That's perfect. Keep it up all night.
Hello, myself, to introduce myself.
Oh God.
It's turning into
This is the
Borat.
best part
I-
about the heist.
I do declare the two of us will sign up as a group. That is 100 gold pieces and our collective souls, dear.
And
Wee wee.
the
Let's just do it.
and the woman sort of like flicks her tail and goes, "Welcome to the Devil's Due, the hardest spot for turning fortunes and winning wages anywhere neath the howl. If you are looking for the prettiest damn dealers anywhere in the world, or if you are just ready to become richer than sin, then tonight is your lucky night. We just need 100 gold pieces and then your signature here, and then just belly on up to a table and get to winning. We got the gold to make your dreams glitter."
Oh, aren't you just the cutest little thing? Monsieur Darjeeling, do give the kind lady the fee.
Tabarnak. All right.
Do you
And I
have
hand
100
it-
gold pieces?
I've taken some of Warren's money, so yes.
Oh, have you? Does Warren know this?
It's a good point. Actually, I'm not sure we have enough gold.
Yeah, she looks at you and says, "I mean, this is where fucking Kaz has the fucking spreadsheet."
Yeah, I was trying to find the
No,
link for the spreadsheet. How much
You
money
do
we have?
not.
No.
Amongst
yeah.
both
Each
Shay and
two-
I think we're
No
yeah.
two-person. This is where the plan falls apart.
We have 96 gold. We have
Unfortunately,
96
Okay,
gold of
the
two
groups
people,
of
right?
two does not work because
No.
each person was given
47 gold, right?
yeah
Which means
47
we have 94 gold. And Morgan, you and I gave.
Well, everyone paid
couple
the
of-
toll. Remember, so we have less than that. And we haven't. If we were savvy, we would have sold the astral silk, and we would have been set. But we did not do that. So now, fuck
You
it,
don't
we're all
have to
gonna
go-
have to enter
You don't have
as
to
one
go
group.
for it. We could probably do two.
Well, no. All we need is just one extra person, right? If we
Yeah.
just have Cavius, I think we should be okay.
No. Then Morgane's fucked.
We might be able to get away with saying that Morgane isn't a person and thus would be able to come with us as Kyvius's property.
That might. It depends. So, like, Kyvius has an angle to lean on. I don't think being performers, Warren and Erie will have to worry about a surcharge. That remains to be seen, though. So it might just be that when Morgane and Kyvius show up, we pay in for the group of 4, and then Warren and Erie get into the entertainment.
I think
what
we're
would
gonna have
go
to try
with.
that.
That's what I'd go with.
So I turn to the person and say, "Darling, we're waiting for 2 more people to join us."
She gives you a bit of a weird look and says, "Well, you can wait over there. There's plenty of seats. How many in your party total?"
There's be a total of 4.
Total of 4. Understood. She says, "You take a seat over there," and you hunker down on some crushed velvet benches essentially and wait.
Play the elevator music.
Who is the next couple of groups in?
So I suppose it's you and me, huh, Morgan? Morgan?
It would be Warren and Erie first. We were the last group.
Right,
Okay.
because we pre-assigned the lines, so
Yeah.
so we fucking roll up.
So I'm sorry, I missed that. It was Morgane, Warren, and Erie.
No.
No.
So it was the order of which we were going in was Shay Saigar, which you've done.
Right.
Next would have been Warren and Erie. Last is Morgane and Kyvius.
Yes,
Got
we're-
it. Okay. Yeah, no, you guys make your way up to the front of the line, get that same kind of speech. You can tell again on the inside that there are people are super fucking excited, as if like people are actually legitimately winning quite a lot, and get the same kind of speech. You can see that your other 2 companions kind of like wave at you sheepishly from the bench where they did not actually manage to get entry, and she gives you the exact same speech. It's 100 gold pieces and a signature for your soul as your entry fee for your group. Everybody has to sign, but only 100 gold in.
Got it. I sort of look over to Erie as sort of the Kirigase entertainment.
Well, I don't I don't see how we would have to really sign in this. We're not here to partake in your gambling or anything. We're your entertainment for the evening.
She looks a little confused. She says, I'm sorry, sweeties. We are all booked up.
So what time is it right now?
Oh, it's about 4:30.
I thought we were going in when the entertainment slot opened.
5 p.m.
That's at 5.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you guys were intentionally making that exact plan to be there ahead of time, or if you were going to be there like if you were going to risk it. I wasn't quite sure, so I figured this way you can be like, oh, well, that's really unfortunate. And then I can be like, oh, by the way, it just opened. So I was thinking you guys were going to get there a few minutes before the cancellation occurred. Am I incorrect?
No.
Basically.
Play into it. Like, predict their mind and say, when it opens up, we'll go in, and then we go sit down.
Oh, damn. Yeah. No, within about, like, as soon as the last couple of artists, as soon as Kyvius and Morgaine arrive, you get the exact same kind of outcome as you were expecting. But before we do that, same thing. Kyvius, do you even wait in line?
No. Of course not. When we approach, we would actually walk past the line and directly up to her and say, "Hello, we are special guests. We would like immediate entry."
She looks a little shocked. What are you dressed in?
Whatever old man found for me. I was like, a cape and so. Okay.
And shirtless?
No. Well,
Okay.
he didn't give me a shirt though, right? So
Did not, no.
Right, so I may be shirtless, but I would be pulling the cape around me, like
Absolutely. Just wanted to
because
clarify.
we're in High Helm. Like I wouldn't reveal that until I know that, because I could get
Right.
attacked, couldn't I?
I mean, probably not. They're trying their very best to be more welcoming to people who are trying to, like, leave the car. So probably not. It's not kill on sight as it is the other direction. But
Okay.
certainly once you are in the doors here, pretty much
So,
everyone is.
Right. Okay. Cool. So walking up to the door, I'd say, yes. I'm expecting immediate entry, and then I would just lift the cloak off, let the cloak open on my left arm a little bit, and just stand there nonchalant.
Oh wow, there is certainly, like, again, that ripple of surprise, and she pulls out a sort of a ledger and flips through it and goes, and is your name on the list here, sweetie?
You won't find it on the list, no.
I better check with Gaspar himself then. She says, you sit right here, be right back. What'd you say your name was?
I said I did not give my name.
I can't just let Gaspar know that there's some mysterious figure coming through for the VIP lounge. What should I tell him?
You should tell him that I would like to speak with him as soon as possible, and I am unused to being questioned.
I quite understood. Can you go ahead and give me a bluff check?
That's what he was waiting for, all right? He was waiting for the D20
If
roll.
robots could sweat,
I don't know if I should give my real name or not. I'm telling you, I am so playing a character against my type.
Holy shit!
Dicks.
You fucking command. What is that fucking roll?
Yo, don't forget about
The
Saigar
roll
and
was
myself.
15, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
no, you guys,
my heart is pounding.
your four friends who are sitting on the fucking bench watch you fucking strut in, and before you're like, what wine glass it is to, what the fuck are you guys doing? There is a few moments later when, like, the doors are open wide, and you can see that Gaspar himself, who is the elf that we had on the. I'm going to just scan back there really quickly. The elf who is on the picture. I actually have a character sheet for him. Hold on. Sort of steps through the double doors and just gestures you in, Kaidus, without any kind of hesitation whatsoever. He immediately, you can tell that he was just in the middle of, like, buttoning up his couple of top buttons. So you can see that he has a tattoo on his chest that is a picture of a large fish in a very small pond, but it's only about half finished, and doesn't look like it has any intention of ever going back and being finished. He just sort of changed his mind like halfway through the tattoo. but otherwise, he is a very glamorous, sleazy-looking elf where his attire is all crushed velvet. He's got a cane in one hand and a top hat in the other with a roc's feather that sort of shoots out of it. He wears a couple of like very little skin actual shows once he sort of does his suit jacket back up, with the exception that the ring finger on each of his hands has been torn open, where he's wearing that same kind of ring that you saw in the statue, where there's just a bunch of gemstones inside the ring itself that dazzle, and you can tell that these ones are definitely real. And he doesn't say anything. He just gestures you inside, and then sort of a glance at the robotic companion you're with. And he goes, "Does that one belong to you?"
Absolutely.
Right this
love
way.
him.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I love the voice. It was so good. It was so good. Yes. This one is mine.
I make a kind of a psst noise towards you.
And yes, I think it would be interesting to bring these two along as well. And I gesture over to Saigar and Shay. And then I kind of sort of turn to him and I give him like the you can't see me. I give him kind of like give him an eye, like you know, for reasons.
He goes, yes, of course, but first you and I shall talk. And he actually just he escorts you inside, and you can tell that he sort of like just a brow flickers back at the four of you sitting there, sort of side by side on the benches. And well, not side by side, but and he escorts Kyvius inside to sort of the main lounge. I want to just talk about that real fast, where give me a quick second here to hit the playlist real fast.
Gaspar's suspicion meter rises. Oh my god.
A mechanic.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Thank you for your infinity bluff.
So when you step into the casino itself, like beyond the registration table is the Hull's game floor, where there are dozens of gamblers and waitresses dressed as succubi. There are bouncers who are all, you can tell underneath their armor, there are probably a good dozen of these chain devils in this full body armor that mill around the room, wandering amid tables that are offering various games, while there's dealers shuffling cards and rolling dice and spinning wheels. And moving through this thong, and there's like a dozen of those barely clad bat-winged vixens that are serving drinks and batting their coal black eyelashes flirtatiously for tips. And in the center of this chamber is a short podium, atop which sits a massive gold chest that has been affixed to the floor by similarly gaudy chains. And on either side of that stands another bare-chested bouncer in the exotic garb that you're familiar with for the Ka. And these two are very clearly not hiding the fact that they are chain devils. They are standing with muscled arms crossed over their chest, those same kind of like twin cudgels on either side tucked through their waistbands. And in here, the roof is a domed glass ceiling. And in the center of it is a painting of a couple of gods, Avandra and Valen, and they are embraced, and it's very sensual in this particular painting. And above it just says in Elven, which is a language that I don't think you can read, but I'm sure we're going to get to in a moment. It says, "Your first chance is blessed. So are all of your second chances." And it's just written in this beautiful flowing script. And there are security catwalks that crisscross the roof that are acting as kind of unintentional censorship bars from certain angles for this picture. And Gaspar turns to you and says, "We really must talk, but I do have a speech to make. Let's be swift. Who are you and what brings you to my establishment?"
I'm here I am known as Cade, and it has been my
Mm-hmm.
and it is thank you, yes. And I've been on a mission securing artifacts of a particular interest to mutual friends of ours, and I was hoping, given that my task has become increasingly complex, that I might find security in your establishment. As you can see from my property back there, he wears the first and the greatest of my. I'm sorry, not the first, but he wears my latest and greatest of my treasures.
He looks back at Morgaine and then back at you and goes, "Well, I hope that you'll be giving us a chance to win that off of his pretty head by the remainder of the evening."
Well, given it can only go to the proper hands, I won't say no.
And then I look forward to your being prepared at the VIP tables, and for that helmet to be passed around. Best of luck to you, Mr. Kados. Now, I really must go. I have to speak to my accountant, Crutlin, before I begin the speech properly. And he gives you like a little bow and then departs back into sort of like the actual managerial sort of section of the main hall.
I love the fact that we all have cameras and you can just watch the three of us just popping off.
Oh my god.
Accountant Crutlin,
Yep.
his destiny.
Mm-hmm.
To work at an evil casino? Yeah.
It'd be in heaven. An evil casino where he gets to play with spreadsheets all day.
Multiverse theory confirmed.
Yeah.
What are the rest of you doing who are still stuck in the lobby? As Kyvius does not come back for you after a couple of minutes.
I'm with Kavia still, right?
You are.
I will go with Saigar to the bar and order.
There is no bar in the lobby.
There's no bar. Oh, we're in the lobby.
Well, wait, aren't I waiting for him to give a speech and then?
Yes, but it's going to be about 45 minutes. I'm not sure if you guys want to delay that long.
Oh.
I shouldn't say 45, like 20 minutes or so before he gives a speech. He's going to go talk to somebody, and then he's going to a speech to make before sort of the evening's festivities, and then he'll be returning back to you.
But then Warren and Erie's event will likely occur before or at the same time.
Well,
we're waiting to play our trap card whenever they suddenly don't have an act and we walk up and be predicted.
I'm just aligning that with the time frame.
We got two people stuck outside and no way for us to get them in now.
I mean, we could use this time. Could we both of us roll a perception check to just scout the area, see if we notice anything like vents or other entrances we could use for quick escape if needed.
So I definitely want to answer that, but I want to say that in this sort of like entry lobby here, I did send off a private message to some people about interesting features of the lobby here. But the other thing that I think it is sort of relevant to you guys is that the cashier's cages, which are located here, have vertical metal bars that have been sort of inset into the stone floor itself. And everything here has been kind of decorated with a general casino theme and sort of remind you of playing cards and so forth and so on. And beyond that, the general vibe that you get from this lobby here is, again, this is sort of where the riffraff is about to get thrown out. And it's not really a place where you're really spending much time loitering. But no sooner has this conversation really, started between Warren and Erie as they sort of figure out what the heck their next plan is if, old man doesn't come through. One of the succubi, I guess I'm going to refer to them, comes like rushing in and speaking in hushed tones, but you can overhear with your elfy ears, and also just like the fact you've been prepared for this. They start going down the list of possible replacements because there is the band Imagine a Distinct Lack of Dragons didn't show, and so they're just going down the list. Like, what about Blink Dog 182? What about 9-inch Flail Snail?
Stop!
No, keep going. How many? Go through the whole list. Come on. You know he's got a fucking notebook. I want to hear them all.
My favorite one is Earth, Wind, and Fire Elementals.
Quick, Wild, think about
In a desperate ploy to stop the DM, we run to the succubi.
Oh, so I heard you're missing some entertainment for tonight.
As predicted.
Well, yes, she says. Are you? Do you have any credentials? Is that what you're offering?
I mean, look at us. We are fantastic. Of course we're dressed for this.
You are
We
not.
can put on the finest
fantastically.
What'd you say?
Yuri's dressed like a pirate.
Pirates are fantastic. stick.
Okay, fair. Well, she looks back at you, the two of you, says, we don't, I mean, beggars can't be choosers, even though no one in Devil's Due is a beggar.
Listen.
What do you call yourselves? What is your act?
My associate here will definitely tell you our name, but our act is the greatest magical performance that anyone will ever see. It's proven to wow audiences across the world.
She glances back to the first one, says, a magic act, will they need to clear that with Maestro? And she sort of just shakes her head and looks back at the two of you and says, well, all right, what's the name of the act so that we can announce it?
Oh God, how did I not prepare a name?
Just call yourselves We Might Be Giants. No, I'm fine. Sorry.
Smith and Wesson.
Smith and Wesson? No, yeah. What, Ash? What did you say?
Oh, you know what? I've got it. Call yourselves Jam Funk.
Yeah, sure. Fuck it. That's about as creative as Warren would be in that moment. Completely caught off guard. Yeah, no.
Yeah, she scribbles it and goes, how do you spell that? And like letter by letter, you kind of go through, and then you realize that like, God, Warren, you do not know how to spell common super well. But that's fucking 28 intelligence. But you're like, God, there's bits and pieces of that are.
There's a lot of apostrophes in my comment.
Yeah, and this two of you are basically rushed in as well and sort of led backstage, which we're going to talk about in a split second. What about the last two? Because I was giving you guys an opportunity to perhaps figure out the gold situation.
I
We forgot to ask Warren.
Like, there's also potential that you know, they were your entourage. You could have looped them in.
I thought that's
We
what we
could
were
have
doing.
just left.
There were so many
gold. I thought. Okay, wait.
I thought that's what
Is
we
it
had
too late,
done.
or can we ask Warren still?
I'm sorry. Can they just have our gold if it doesn't work out?
I think that's something you'd have to establish. No, I think
Yeah, you're probably right.
Two of you head on in and leave Shay and Sygart behind.
Shay, our plan has fallen to shit.
Like, maybe one of you pocketed the money for a currency item of story potential.
Is that how we're gonna spend our first?
You fucked up. Figured it out.
That's true.
That
Was that supposed to be a bird
rogue
noise?
trying to
Look at it! It's a purple winged fucked up pheasant. Tell us your tale, fuck up pheasant.
Fuck hiding pheasants.
Fuck up pheasant.
Oh God.
Remember the gold. Thank you, fuck up pheasant. Oh, they're so beautiful and majestic. Flutters off.
steal. Was that a rogue trying to steal the gems? Was he in the lobby trying to steal statue
No,
gems? Or was he
outside and sort of in the line. There's but again, they're. I sent you the private message.
Yeah, the gems.
Yeah. No, that was outside where the big 8-foot statue of Gaspar is located, where he's sort of made of solid gold outside.
Listen, if we can't think of any solutions, I can spend a hero point here. I'm just saying.
Shay, I literally don't.
We are so good at plans.
I thought
I wonder if the people in the line have gold.
I thought we were waiting for fucking. Oh, that's true. I thought we were waiting for Kaimis to get them in.
Yeah, I thought
That's also true.
I thought that they were in. I should have pursued that line of questioning. Like
Noticing more about the statue, could I stealth try to grab some of the
You would
stones
have
off of the
to
statue?
get up. You would have to get up from your fucking bench and best be hitting the old dusty trail, and pushing past the group trying to get inside.
No,
Go back out and then wait in line again. And while I think that's a great plan, my suspicion meter finger is itching.
But you're not anywhere near us right now.
I expected difficulties. The door wasn't one of them.
The door is always the hardest part.
It's true.
I think we're just going to wait.
Hang on.
Wait, what about?
I'm hanging.
So we're waiting. We're what's his name? What's his name walked off.
Gets far.
Yeah. So what would happen? What would happen? Okay. So I'm sitting here. I'm like, we gotta get these guys. Morgan, we gotta get these guys in here. And so let's just try it out. I might as well. I turn around after hopefully.
I don't want to interrupt you, Benji.
Yes.
So Zek has said "hang on" like 4 times, but I'm waiting for him to elaborate on what his "hang on" means.
Sorry.
I did want to just quickly clarify with Zek. Are you attempting to do anything before I launch into Gaspar's speech and then reconvene with Kyvius?
I was going to use my hero point to try and get us in.
I'm all ears. In what manner?
Okay, so I pinged you. What I would. The intention of that was. So Shay's gonna pull Saigar up, and then she's gonna go up to the scantily clad succubus, and she's going to flirt with her.
Okay. Now I wanted just to quickly clarify a little bit about hero points here. So there is a difference between a hero point, which is like, cool, I just auto succeed at something and move onwards, and being able to sort of add details and something more interesting to a scene to kind of like enhance the story a little bit. In this case, what you're saying is I flirt with a waitress to let us in. That is a skill check.
Ooh.
As opposed to saying like, is there somebody here whom like Shay has a history with, that is this person that I've known for years, and she would be more receptive.
You can add details.
Okay, I get it now.
Going the avenue of having someone who recognizes you is not a bad one. You can maybe also use one to find 50 gold on the ground. Wow, look at that.
That's
I
drunkard,
nudge Shay and
being
say,
the
doesn't
casino.
that one waitress look familiar?
Yes.
Sometimes when the doors open, you can see Kyvius, Kados inside, where he's got like the champagne glass that he's just sort of like holding in the air at the doorway.
Good.
So are you guys doing something, or should I try something?
If you think you've got something that you could try, then go for it.
So I'd turn around, since he walked off, I'd turn around, I'd walk back out the door. Hopefully they saw Gaspar and say, "Here, you may attend me. We have been granted entrance." And I'd turn around. I'd make this kind of a production. Then I'd turn around and walk back in as if expecting them to follow.
Go ahead and give me that fucking just intimidate check. I feel like in this case.
Intimidate? Okay.
Yeah. It's not high. It's fucking difficulty 13.
Ooh, it's not my best.
You've already commanded.
Got your thingy.
Oh!
What's my thing?
Close.
What's my thingy?
Oh,
the
that wouldn't
two.
make it still.
Um,
Your utility power.
you fucking snap and command, but you can see that like sort of like there's enough people at the front entryway looking for entrance right now that both of the succubi there kind of like glance back and forth at one another and sir, we're sorry, we really can't show overt favoritism, but if you would like, we could perhaps get them a small table on this side and an escort until such time as you are.
You're next to them. Just give them some of you and Morgane's gold.
Yes. Yes.
If it's a problem of money, then let them pay the entrance fee like anyone else. And I just
beckon me.
I would beckon Morgane.
No.
What'd you say?
No metagaming.
Okay.
How much gold do you throw at them?
I wouldn't be overt about it. This isn't a flashy thing. I would reach into my pouch, I'd hold out my hand to them, and I'd drop my 47 gold in there in Shay's hand.
Precisely 47. He counts it out. This is your allowance.
If you really want to play casino games, then don't spend it all in one place. And then I turn around and walk back in.
God, Kyvius is gonna own this forever.
Yeah.
So Shay, I think we have enough to go in now.
We do, my dear. We're saved
Jeez.
by a benevolent car.
Okay. There's a moment where like you guys get back up to the front counter or whatever, where one of those succubi goes, "Did you hear that time slot 5 got canceled? There's not going to be live music. We've tried to get the comedian in time slot 4 to extend his act, but it's just not happening." And then the other first succubi goes, "No, it's taken care of. There's Jam Funk is scheduled to go live immediately following Gaspar's speech."
Oh my
So-
god, that name.
So when you end up signing the weigh-in, you pay the 100 gold pieces, and then your soul, you have to sign this mock contract that is provided by one of the very voluptuous Umchui, which says that you sell your soul to the house's devils.
I mean,
I have
Shay and I clearly signed our
I
fake
have
name.
already signed.
Okay, yep. Signature.
Monsieur Darjeeling signs.
Madam Winterbloom.
You both sign?
Yeah, we both signed.
With our fake names.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Is this a magical
Oh,
contract out of curiosity?
This does not sound good.
Are you trained in Arcana?
I am not, but Shay is.
No, I'm not.
Nope,
Nope.
neither of you are.
Seems, I mean, it looks, if it's not magical, a lot of effort has been put into making it look very foreboding and ominous. And then when the two of you have paid your entry fee, you are given a wooden board, and it has 2 small little crystal chips that can only be removed by employees. They are very clearly magical. And this board is kind of in the shape of a mosaic. And if you have all 15 chips, it will form the shape of a laughing Gaspar.
Fucking, of course.
And then as you do so, you're basically told that the first dozen people to collect all 15 chips are basically sort of put on the record to be walking away with a percentage of the house's earnings that night. And your 100 gold pieces is taken on this black burnt platter, basically, over to that immense treasure chest in the middle of the hall, where your entry fee is just added into this massive chest, and the guards nearby who are wielding these massive gold banded cudgels, you can tell that they're not on hand not only to protect the money, but also to prevent any overzealous admirers from trying to dare to experience the infamous touch of a succubi. And on this note, you are brought into the main hall. You can see that there is a catering company by the name of the Open Range that is like going table to table, and basically it's all on the house. It's all complimentary except for like liquors, but there's food and alcohol that is just flowing, and there's a couple of games here that we can talk about in just a brief moment here in kind of this main gambling hall area. You also see that domed ceiling with the painting of the 2 goddesses kind of embracing in its in this very overtly like heretical way to depict these 2 goddesses who were, sort of rumored to be lovers, but like blatantly, overtly hardcore porn on the ceiling of this place. And the public privies on the far side have been marked very clearly, where one of them has been marked with a cup and one of them has been marked with a sword. And that should answer all of your questions. And the casino floor is a wide room that is carpeted in rich red that has been recently patched in many places. Appetizers are getting wheeled in and out. And one of the things that you notice is that after sort of the appetizers are done, some of the entrees that are being brought out is rust monsters trapped inside wooden cages, basically being prepared tableside as hors d'oeuvres. And even like
What's
as
a
you're starting to
rust
notice
monster?
this, oh, that's a great question. Let's go ahead and just take a moment here to Google. I'll link you an image.
Is this a D&D thing or?
They are. Yeah, they're
Oh,
a classic monster. that I thought about using once or twice. They are the bane of low-level adventurers because they exhale like a breath that dissolves metal. So like armor, sword, weapons, just gone.
And this is what they're so delicious.
Oh, I've got a picture here.
Yeah, you put it in the.
There we go. Yeah. So that's what these creatures are, and you can tell that they're like they paw at the sides of these wooden cages, but they get sliced up and served and killed basically tableside, and big haunches of these creatures' flesh are sort of served flambe style or with like small aperitifs.
Uncooked?
But, like, no cooked.
Okay.
But the open range very clearly specializes in tableside slaughter.
Good.
And then, even as you notice this, there's a succubi that stops by with a tray and offers you guys a cocktail filled with prawns that are all the size of a fucking dagger.
I mean, I'll take one.
Yeah, of course. You can see where the VIP sort of hallway section would be. And you can see that there's, again, a couple of chain devil guards at this entryway as well, where the door itself looks like it is done manually, where there are metal grates basically set into the ceilings that are like, you can't quite tell how thin it is, but you get the feeling that Erie would have trouble getting through them. That at any point in time there are these large wheels inset into the wall that they would have the ability, using their ability to control chains, to sort of touch the wheel and cause it to rapidly spin using the kind of chain pulley system that holds this up to cause the door to slam down immediately. It is controlled magically by the chain devils who are guarding every entrance. And as the windows begin kind of darkening with twilight a little bit on the outside, and you can see that the first couple of stars are starting to peek out in the big dome glass ceiling overhead, there are several game hall employees who enter that are carrying torches shaped like pitchforks rather, that have all skewered burning heads made of straw and cloth, and they go around and light several large braziers and start giving the hall a more infernal hue. And a hush falls over the gathered crowd as all the games are come to a temporary stop. As Gaspar climbs to the central podium, accompanied by two gorgeous succubi, and he stands before the gold chain-shrouded chest there with a demoness on either arm. And he's still wearing his formal suit. His thinning black hair is slicked back, and he says, "Welcome, one and all, to the Devil's Due Gambling Hall and your chance to cheat the devils and win back not only your soul, but the gold as well." And he says this last as he pats a large chest before which he's standing. His other hand is fiddling with the 6 hexagonal gemstones in the gemstone encrusted ring on his hand, like he's nervous. "I hope you found your reception by our host's lovely temptresses suitably entertaining." And this is met with a general murmur of laughter, a couple of catcalls. And then he extends his hands and says, "We have emptied our deepest vaults to provide the gold for tonight, but we plan on replacing with what we lose with the souls of those of you who do not win. The casino rules are simple. As you play, you'll earn bloodstones. The first person to accumulate 15 of such gems will be declared the winner, and they, along with the next 11 winners, will all split the staggering sum contained within this chest, estimated to be, at this point, 5,000 pieces of gold. And don't worry, you'll know it when it happens." And then after a moment of like general appraisal from the rest of the crowd, he goes, "You can, of course, decide to cash out your winnings at any time you want. But if you do, or if you run out of gems entirely, well, that means the house gets your soul for good." And he grins evilly. "And that earns you the Devil's Mark and an escort out of the game hall until, of course, tomorrow night. And what exactly, you ask, is this Devil's Mark?" And here he affects a shudder. Goes, "Well, it's something too utterly horrible to even contemplate. The forfeiture of your very soul it is, but I suppose I can show you what it is. Gods know I more than deserve the Devil's Mark. In fact, You better make it 2, girls. And with that, the 2 demonesses accompanying him lean over and each firmly plant a kiss on his cheek with their ruby red lips. And when they pull away, the lip rouge has left clearly visible prints in the same shocking red on his cheeks. And he beams as he calls out, "The devil's mark, everyone!" which is greeted by a flurry of shouts and catcalls and hoots. And he goes, "Now let's cheat those devils and take their gold." And with that, the evening's entertainment just begins once more. What do you guys do? Just to quickly clarify, Warren and Erie, you guys are basically going to be going on stage here in the next 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
We are rapidly discussing our entrance.
Good.
So I think we need to huddle up for a second, because do we alter anything given that we may have to win back a couple of souls?
It seemed
Or are we
vague,
not concerned
though.
about that?
I say throw caution to the wind.
Is there? Can I Arcana that? Is that a thing I can try and guess at?
Yeah, for sure.
Can I assist?
You can assist and go ahead and roll your Arcana. And you need to just hit the same DC to get, or half the DC.
Holy
You give him
fuck!
Yeah. So Warren, you get a fucking +2 to your Arcana check. It's difficulty 21. Oh
Should have just
man,
had Erie do
are you
it. We have the
serious?
same bonuses.
Yikes. Oh, you rolled a 3. Yeah, no, it would be fucking hard to make the call in this case, without you having been sort of close enough to see the document firsthand. But there's no sign of anything happening to the people whose souls are lost as far as you know. And presumably this has been happening with hundreds of people every night for years now. So it's hard to say, but probably fine.
You know what? No.
He says with a failed check.
Yeah. Okay, no, you know what? I don't think we should alter anything. I think we should still make our way to the VIP room, and maybe I can discover if we're going to have a problem with souls in my discussions with Gaspar. So I think we stick to the plan. So Morgaine and Kyvius would head for the VIP lounge.
Absolutely. The 2 guards stop you, but Gaspar basically just waves you through and tells you he'll be along in just a moment, and they send you on through. For those of you who are sort of stuck in the main game hall, which would be in this case Saigar and Scheherazade, just so you guys know, there is really 2 kinds of games that are occurring simultaneously right now. One of them is basically the standard kind of poker style game of choice. It is called Lasso, where basically it seems like there's players who are anteing up a gem, and the goal is to roll dice both above and below the dealer's number, as it were. And a successful bet is earning people gems at a remarkably quick rate. The second one, which doesn't look like it is paying out nearly as well, is a giant dragon skull that it takes you a few minutes to realize that it's not actually real. That is situated kind of on the far wall. And it's on display and surrounded by guards too. And it's listed as being called Skull Rattle, where even though a lot of people are walking away without rewards, there is a special prize for this one. And the way that it seems to work is that you buy 3 polished chunks of vertebrae with one of your chips, basically, your crystal chips, the bloodstones, and basically drop these vertebrae as dice into the skull, and it comes rattling out of the skull, and the goal is for you to have 2 of them come out from the same location. And if you do, awesome, you get a fucking your chips back. On all 3 of them coming out the same hole, as it were, whether it be the eye or the nose or mouth or whatever. And there's a back section where there's a winner's tray at the back of the skull. Were you to get all 3 in the same thing, there is a grand prize that is available that appears to be a flask filled with some kind of golden liquid that is in an angelic bottle.
And we have 2 chips each?
2 chips total.
And just a side note, Steel, while we make our way to the VIP room or wherever, although this is all going on, this is when I would begin to...
You're kind of completely leaving there, Reggie.
Okay. This is when I'm going to say this and then I'll restart Discord. This is when I'd begin to attune my senses to detecting magic.
Okay. I want to really quickly say this really quick before you leave Discord then. Go ahead and give me that Arcana check.
Oh, sure.
It's gonna be a fucking 1.
It is going to be a. I'm aware. I'm completely aware it's going to be a 1. It's going to be just like the fucking poison, not the poison. The flower of life and death.
I mean, that worked out okay.
Technically, he lived.
If you can call this living. Are you for fucking... All right, get out of here. Get out of my Discord.
Goodbye.
Oh, man.
Jesus. I want to have the fucking camera up just so I can watch the fucking facepalm.
Unreal.
We got this.
Make your way onto the stage. I will take the center stage with, I guess, Warren probably somewhere behind me. Because
As you come on to center stage, I'm gonna bring out my token to make using powers.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hang on though. Let's
bring
do
out
this.
Real.
Let's do this properly. Shazam!
No, when we were talking about something that maybe belongs on a drow and maybe accentuates feminine form, actually having my hair combed and pushed down, it's a little longer. But as I come out brandishing the staff, I give it a twirl, and atop the stage as Eerie takes the center, I send it a light. I mean, I don't need to hit anything, just like,
damn! No, that's
sparkles.
awesome.
And I also use this here to create the sound of loud jazz horns for jam funk.
is this an actual action you have?
First of all, those are both fucking incredible. But let's focus on the real fucking truth here, Wild. I need you to roll for twirl. This is all you. Yeah, you're fucking stepping out here, being a big shot. We know you've got magic, but the real check here, if we were playing 3.5 or 5th edition, would be a performance check, right? You want all eyes on stage, as I understand it.
I'm trying to draw attention to Eerie specifically, but yes. Is there a performance in this game?
So there is not a performance. There is a couple different options that you could do, but I think that I would probably aim for it being just a very hard Arcana check to just purely impress people, or a straight Charisma check at half the difficulty. We'll say a DC 10 Charisma or a 21 Arcana. You know what? 18 Arcana, because no, 20 Arcana or 10 Charisma.
That is an interesting... Those are essentially exactly the same. The charisma's a little easier.
By 1 point.
Yeah. Warren is not charismatic. This is a call to attention for the cool. I do want to say no, fuck it. YOLO.
Damn. Yeah, no, you fucking come like stepping out on stage and immediately people burst into applause. Where like you might not have a lot going for you, but like you are a one-armed fucking fabulous wizard that looks the part, that comes out on stage like you are the Garfunkel to Eerie Simon. And within moments of like these fucking like starlight firing from your hand like a firework that zips and zags around the room, and to like a crowd of oohs and ahs gasping, a lot of people just stop playing at the tables they're at and just start turning and watching. What is the false note for?
The false note was to give us jazz horns as we come out on stage.
Oh damn, yeah, full absolute jazz horns. If there is more to your fucking act, then yes, absolutely, people start like witness everything that you do enraptured for a good 10 minutes, and then you sort of step aside and let Eerie do his thing.
the only I gotta save some cards for later. Yeah. That's the intro to present the main, present Erie basically.
Okay.
The amuse bouche, if you will.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
What does Erie do?
He's just going to let out as loud as he can. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention? Tonight, we face the fantastic act of the ones, the only, the Jam Funk. Prepare to be amazed, exonerated. Your wildest dreams will come true.
Yep.
I'm just saying words.
Yeah.
did you say exonerated?
They're watching you with like hanging off of every word, rapt attention.
Your wildest dreams will come true tonight, as you will never believe your eyes. Now, for our first
Yeah, sorry.
illusion.
Woo, this is clapping and applauding it.
I will need one volunteer from the audience.
Ooh.
100 hands go up.
I don't know how to pick
one of them is a chain devil that like is a little from the VIP
Oh my
doors,
God,
just
yes.
puts his hand up.
Yes.
You know what? Him.
Do it.
Yeah, no, and gets all excited and sort of makes his way up on the stage. And
At the same time, I would like to flutter over to a card table, if there are card tables,
oh yeah, there's plenty.
and just kind of grab a deck of cards.
Oh yeah, no, they're everywhere. Let me go ahead and just give you a deck real fast here. In fact, guys, one moment.
Just to add atmosphere to sort of Erie while this is all happening, I'm using the this to occasionally send out little what look like illusory pixies kind of fluttering and leaving stardust over the crowds as we're going through this.
Cool. Yeah, no, the chain devil kind of gets on stage. You can see that there is just like foam at the corners of its mouth, and its eyes have been gouged out as if by like some metal object. And beneath the armor that it wears, you can see that there is just like constant blood dripping from the wounds of the spiked chains that are wrapped around its body.
Question: is there like a catwalks above the crowd where like lighting would be?
Yes, absolutely. Very
Yes.
intentionally placed.
Still, I think you're
perfect.
pinging Roll20 also.
I did,
Something to do.
but I feel like your message to me in Roll20 was, can I make a check? And the answer is yes, absolutely, always. Just declare it when someone else is not talking.
Oh, okay.
I don't usually have time to respond with, yes, you can make a check. There's other stuff going on.
Okay, so with the deck of cards, I will shuffle it as best as I can. Pan it out.
Okay.
Higher audience.
All right. Can you
Oh,
go ahead
okay,
and make
okay,
a strength check for
actually-
me? No, dexterity check. I'm sorry. This is your check.
I mean, it could be
I'll
either.
also allow athletics. It's difficulty 9 to shuffle a fucking deck of cards that's as big as you are.
I mean, you could do it. It just takes them a very long time.
He's a very tiny little fairy. This is what I just wanted to clarify. Yeah, no, it's tough where like you're like, pick a card, you kind of like full body motion try to shuffle. But okay, yeah, people still watch.
But realizing I might be having too much difficulty, I will just wave Warren over to hold it for me.
Okay.
Of course. No, yeah, I come over. As
Of course, showing the
assistant.
audience that every card is in the deck. It's not some trick deck with only one card.
Hmm.
Then I will ask the Chain Devil.
Here, sir. Now, I want you to pick any card from the deck. And don't show me. I will turn my back to him. I'm just looking at back to the back of the stage. And I want you to just show the audience and then put it back in the deck.
Yeah, no, he
Then, while he's busy picking a card, I'm going to put
oh
my other
God.
me up in the lights.
Okay. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh
He, like-
my
Oh
god.
my god.
He pulls a card and like very aggressive goes and stares at it. then he turns towards the audience and goes, "Arr!" and sort of shows it out to the entire crowd. And you can see it's like the jack of diamond, and then turns and sort of like shoves it roughly back into the deck. So it's very clearly the edge bends a little bit, but you don't fucking gets it in there, and then it waits for the trick.
A fantastic choice, sir. One of my favorite cards myself. Now, is there any reason you picked that card? Oh, your mother. Good point.
And then you shuffle the. Do you like grab the card? I'm so excited.
Best I can to just kind of. Actually, how do I want to do this?
Look at you. Yeah.
I'm gonna like shoot the cards up in the air. You know how you like just bend a deck, just they fly
absolutely.
out.
Yeah.
You could make it magically float to you with pixie dust.
Oh my fucking god.
Yes, please.
Hang on, I need the pixie dust later. But could I use my make reality all funny and move things around to grab the card I need out of the
Oh my
sky
god!
and make it appear in my hand?
Hells to the absolute yes. You have to roll an Arcana check though to fucking super precision a fucking card out of midair when it's a 9x9 square radius. Again, difficulty 20. No, man, fucking you grab a whole bunch of them and like a whole bunch of cards just kind of like fall into sort of your general hand region and you sort of like fumble for them and they all kind of fall to the ground next to you. And he goes, "Arr!" A lot of them fall face down, a lot of them fall face up. It's in there somewhere. Is there anything else that you do?
I'm thinking.
While he's thinking, I'd like to make a perception check to scout the room for like anyone that like would have like security credential or like a pit boss and like try and like identify those folk.
You know what? No check is necessary because it is very clear to you that there should be a pit boss. There should be somebody who is calling the shots in this chamber, and you do not see anyone that matches that description.
I'd like
No
to do a perception
check needed.
I'd like to do a perception check to see if there's anything that looks like a security room or like a camera room.
Anything that looks like a security room or a camera room?
You're gonna have to kind of sleuth around for that.
From this area, it's very sort of tight knit, close. Where like there's a hallway that goes down to the VIP lounge, and then like the bare knuckle boxing and stuff, and further into the casino itself and the managers' rooms and stuff. In this area, it's just kind of like there's a backstage dressing room in the stage. There is a couple of different kitchens. There are the privies that lead off of this room, and there's kind of like the counting chambers, and also a room that should have been used to take your weapons that I fucking totally forgot. So I guess I'll throw that in a little bit later. That's a VIP room thing now, guys.
So we have weapons on us?
I guess fucking so. I forgot.
Nice.
I was kind of waiting for the fleece.
I'm ready now.
That's the VIP chamber. Are you ready? Awesome.
Okay, so, well, I know that you had picked the Jack of Diamonds first, but that's not the card I needed. And I will drop all but one card. What card don't I drop?
4 of clubs.
You see, the 4 of clubs. This is a special card to you. You see, it has some interesting properties, and I'm gonna go and just
Walk up behind him and slap the card into it. Float behind him, yes. And slap the card into his back, and at the same time, I'm going to use the pixie dust on him to make him fly out across the audience.
Whoa!
Yes!
Yeah, no, as he begins to float, like, he grabs a weapon and just starts, like, swinging it in the air. Like, what is this trick? Right, and just attacking anything he can, and he sort of flutters over the audience. They ooh and ah. and then a moment later, he sort of like gets comfortable, and you can see like this creature's eyes light up as he sort of experiences flight a little bit, and calms the fuck down and just sort of hovers around the room. And then your pixie dust fucking ends, Eerie. It ends because it's good for 6 squares, and he comes falling fucking down onto a nearby table and cracks the table right down the fucking center, and cards go flying everywhere. And like a couple people at the table like panic and scream as their glasses break and shatter. And quite a few people applaud, but there's also very clearly indication that like that was a weird magic show trick.
A round of applause for our gracious audience participation.
Yeah. This guard gets up, and you can see that he's got like tears in his eyes from the humiliation, and this fucking evil chain devil saunters over to like the male washrooms and closes the door and locks himself away.
To cry himself to sleep tonight.
As part of him being that close, just for that time, could I roll either Arcana or Warfare to assess the threat of his existence?
Oh,
like
hell
if
yeah.
I was to fight that thing, would it beat the shit out of him?
100% roll Warfare.
Okay.
Could I roll religion for that?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, cool.
Yuri, you know that Chain Devil is sort of like the grunt soldiers of actual proper devils, because they are not demons, because they fundamentally respect law and rules, and they basically serve as guards and soldiers to people that outrank them, essentially. So there is certainly somebody here in the casino that like commands these guards and has their undying respect. Warren, you know that they tend to fight better in wide open areas where they can really fucking go wild with their chains to like grab people and throw them into things and like go full bar fight style. In a cramped environment like this, it wouldn't be an ideal fighting situation for them, which is why it looks like basically they're just sort of like very stupid orc style strong arm grunts, basically to make sure that people can easily be grappled and thrown out of the casino if they overstep their boundaries. But probably you could handle a group of like 7 or 8 of them, unlike when you were children. If you were to make your escape from this building and they were trying to stop you, people would get hurt. It would certainly be very akin to Zek's game when we were escaping from the Fey Manor and one person went down, but it wouldn't be instant death to fight these things by any stretch of the imagination.
Got it. Log that away.
Yeah, no kidding. Would you say though that this entire incident has caused a relatively large distraction? Hint, hint.
Oh, for sure, without any question.
So at this time, I think, like Morgane and I definitely, we don't have to slip in. We were invited in, but we go into the VIP room. Also, now that it's unguarded.
It's not unguarded. There is one guard there, but Gaspar had
okay.
given you his blessings to go on through.
Gotcha.
And as you do, there are a couple more chain devils on the other side that have just blinked into existence that do indeed retrieve any weapons that are overtly weapons that you may have on your person, and they store them in kind of a side room. But you, of course, that is not the case.
What aside from you described the main hall with the stage and the washrooms, the kitchen and stuff, what other exits are there to this area?
There are not any other exits to the area in this room. None whatsoever.
I don't mean the VIP, I mean the main area.
Yeah. I understand what you mean. There are no other exits.
You can go from the main hall to the foyer, the kitchen, the privies, the stage, or to the VIP hall.
That's it. They really are trying to contain people in this area.
Yes.
There's a reference doc if you want, Ash, in the recap.
No, I saw it. Yeah, I have it open now.
Something that I did want to mention to Warren and Eerie really quick before I go talk to Kyvius here. And again, I'm sorry, this is long period of time before you get a chance to talk.
No,
this is what happens when we split the party, guys.
Totally understood.
Yuri and Warren, one of the things that you had noticed when the Chain Devil was like dealing the cards and like looking for things is they all have arcane marks written on engraved into one of their palms.
Okay.
Kyvius, when you when you get into sort of the VIP section, where it's a nice long hallway, it's about 45 feet, you can see at the end of the hall, set above the door, is a basically a pane of glass that is a rotate like a round pane of glass, like a domed, and behind this is what looks like a clockwork lens where it is set above the door itself, like embedded into it, like a Zelda puzzle where there's like an eyeball above the door. It's behind glass. It's behind a bit of clockwork that indicates that like the lens on this thing could close and seal to protect it from damage. And behind that, although it's not the case right now, behind that is a stone on which a crude child picture of an eye has basically been drawn.
Did you say this was in the, I'm so sorry. Did you say this was in the ceiling or this is actually in the wall?
This is embedded in the wall above the door on the far side of this hallway, about 60 feet down,
Okay.
where you can see that this door is also guarded by just a single chain devil, and behind it is an elevator essentially that just goes straight down, not unlike the ones that you guys were in the crypt for previously. And as you enter the VIP, you watch as this eye like turns and looks directly at you, as if watching your movements and following you. Above you, there is another painting of another god, and this one is a little bit more depressing because it is a portrait of Erithis, who is, of course, the goddess of civilization, who's dead. And she is regal in her bearing, but she is lying dead in this painting in a field where she has a gaping hole in her chest, holding her own heart, as you, of course, know the legend where she was stabbed. And above her, in flowing elven script, is written something else.
Which I do not read.
Which you do not read.
Right.
But it's sort of the third paintings of the goddesses you've seen here in the area thus far.
Okay, so Morgaine, I mean, is there anything that we want to accomplish in here before Gaspar comes back?
We need information.
Right. I mean, is there anyone we can get information from other than Gaspar?
Yeah. So when you guys are like when you enter this hallway and sort of are like gesture to take an immediate left, there's some stairs that sort of lead up to a second floor where it is just like open air as far as you can tell on this extremely lavish balcony where there's like a good dozen succubi here that are specifically tending to the 4 people that are sitting at this table. It is very clearly like at the beck and call of anyone. As you arrive, there is already people who have been clearly like arguing about this for quite some time and have basically brought like a big wooden throne that belonged to some act at some point in time to be Morgaine's chair, sitting beside one that has already been set up for you to sort of join the table here. And at this table, there is a like as you walk in, there's an elf who is leading the conversation. He goes, "Every argument why it's ethical for humans to eat animals is also an argument why it's ethical for elves to eat humans." That's all I'm saying. And like you can tell that like anybody who can afford to be invited to the VIP section of the Devil's Due Casino, they wouldn't be caught dead gambling with the rabble on the main floor. This upper class clientele, there is clearly high stakes at this table where they're not playing with chips, but rather the table is piled high with gold and deeds and like property writs and things like that, and promises of favors for different like noble houses. There is that elven noble. There is a big dumb barbarian adventurer with a sack full of gold next to him that is looking like he's not been doing very good. There is a woman in like a very nice lace petticoat. And as you finish just sort of getting into this group environment, you can see that the 4th person looks up at you and you recognize them. Give me a second.
Oh shit!
Oh balls.
This fourth person is playing cards, or he would be, were it for the fact that his hands, you know, were attached to his body. In fact, the hands that hold the deck of cards, as he is now taking the turn dealing, are phantasmal, spectral hands that sort of float in midair. That you can tell that he is controlling with very, very minimal effort. This individual otherwise has both his hands on a tall glass of some clear alcoholic beverage of some type that he's sort of swirling around. And you can see there's like swirls of colors in this glass itself that he's sort of staring into as if deep in thought. And you can very clearly see that this individual is one of the Bonds mages. In fact, specifically, he is the Bonds mage. Did that work for you guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
He is specifically the Bonds mage from when you were first delivered the message to return to Kiovas's funeral. This is the man who had introduced himself as Maestro.
Look at him.
He's the one who appeared to us wherever we were.
Yes. To drop off the invitation. He works for the Guild of Bonds Mages. They are essentially wizards and mercenaries for hire. And he looks very unconcerned with the game itself, but is sitting at the table gambling away. Yeah.
Does he? So okay. Does he? Could I just ask a question? Is Bonds Mage just a title, or does that have a specific meaning?
It is specifically like a guild of mages who sell magic to the highest bidder, and they function as basically magical mercenaries.
It's a group.
It is a group.
Okay.
Know that they are led by a mysterious figure known only as Jan Savos, who is it is believed to be a warforged, where the running belief is that Jan Savos was the only warforged to have built himself and created the Bonds Mages.
That's a badass backstory.
So he delivered. Who was he? Who would he have been hired by to deliver those invitations to us? It would have been Keo and
Right.
Brandon.
Correct. It would have
Like,
been.
Yeah.
Brandon.
Okay. Does he give any kind of indication that he might have recognized who I am?
He doesn't really even look up as you enter until the rest of the people like gesture at you to sort of take a seat. And the elf turns to you and goes, "You agree with me, of course."
I've already forgotten what the elf said. He talked about eating humans
Eating
because
humans. Yeah.
humans eat animals. Yes, but I don't think they would taste very good. They can be so stringy and annoying.
I'm not saying it in practice. I'm simply saying that the many hypocritical statements made by the mortal races about how it's so disgusting that they are eaten by other species, like giants, for example, and then to turn around and simply eat other beings themselves is fundamentally flawed. If anything, elves, being the highest on the food chain, certainly are to a human as as a human is to a rabbit.
Would you say? So would you say this guy is shooting off his mouth, or elves really have some kind of higher social status in High Helm or in the Orlands?
Not in High Helm.
Okay. Then I would say, while your logic is sound, I question its foundation. I see nothing that says to me that elves would be the highest in the food chain, friend.
He rolls his eyes a little bit, and the woman there says, "Now that is what I have been saying." And she holds out a hand to you, as if you are to kiss the back of her hand.
I would take her hand and I would kiss the back of her hand and I would say, and it is certainly my pleasure to be sitting at this table with you here this evening. May I ask your name?
It's Tora Glaren. Love the tattoos.
Yes, they are precious to me.
And then the barbarian puts his hand up and goes, "James," and kind of goes back to like staring dumbfounded at his hand. And the elf says, "Alsteriel, seventh in line to the throne in the eastern section of Mithrandain."
Morgaine, I hope you're remembering all of this because I'm terrible with names. Sterial, James, and lady's name?
Tora.
Tora?
Tora Glaren.
Okay.
You know someone's really important when they get super specific about their birth origin.
And they go, take a seat. And at this point in time, like Maestro like glances up to look at you and then back down at the glance, then back up again and goes, Kyvius?
Well, I hope you weren't planning to stick with K.
Yeah. That may be one of the names I've used in the past. I can't remember. My work takes me to so many places.
He shrugs and goes, yeah, no, that checks out. I mean, it seems like you're getting invited to all the fancy get-together.
Well, I do seem to be in demand these days.
Let me do it again. And he just again like starts tossing you cards as the next round starts going around, and then looks at you and then glances at Kyvius or at Morgaine rather, and goes, "Is this one playing?"
Okay, are you any good at cards?
I can't whisper without being noticed.
I suppose that's
No,
true.
no. I am here for the master's beckon.
No, he's not playing. It'll be just me this evening. You know, when it comes to
He-
Warforged, they have no skill at games of chance and skill.
He nods and says, "That's fine. We're doing fixed odds, Joker's face, Deuce Wild, Croupier, for all."
I know
And
what Deuce's Wild means.
yeah. And
Anyway,
you
question, is Steele's voice going pingy and crazy for anyone else, or is that
it
just
might
me?
just be you.
It might just be me? Okay, I'm going to kick Discord again, because, you know.
And while Morgaine and
Shall we, we know our friends Kyvius and Morgan are in the VIP room, but we know from the blueprints that there is a hallway that leads past the VIP room, potentially the elevator and the manager's area. Should we try to sneak up there? Given that there's a distraction going on the stage, shall we take advantage of it, or do you think that our cover might be blown?
I think if one person can sneak through, then it's a higher chance. But we need to figure out what the deal with the eye is. Get our hands into that security room.
Where was the eye again?
in the hallway past the VIP area. You'd have to get access to the VIP area first.
Yeah, so like looking at the map, it's like
Yeah, I see it.
coming out of the main hall. There's like a hallway that's the kitchen / arena, and it's like there's like an elevator down where question marks come out.
It's basically situated right above at the elevator.
I think you might be in a better position to try sneaking in, Shay. I tried to make a distraction for you, or doing what is happening on the stage is enough.
I'm trying to sneak into the VIP room.
Not the VIP room, but the hallway past the VIP room.
You guys see that about the 6th or 7th meal is brought out on trolley from the kitchen, and then like after a quick check from the guard at the VIP doorway, and it's super brief. It is brought further into the VIP lounge, and then another one taken to the counting room. It's also in that same kind of general hallway. And as you're seeing this, there's also a shriek from a nearby table, like a whoop of excitement, as this gnome leaps onto the table as he joyfully wins, and as he does so. All of the chandeliers in this area that are hanging off of where there's not glass on the ceiling light up with red flames, and immediately the entire hall becomes like bright crimson red as like the flames of hell encircle you, and you can tell that this is the very first winner of the pot. And this gnome shouts, "Now who's not real? Remember my name, Sir Fiddleful of Curdled Milk!"
if you were looking for a distraction.
Could we hide on the trays and take the food
Hang
into
on.
the VIP area?
He starts doing like cartwheels across the floor.
The guards that are like checking the individuals going through the VIP, like, is there anything like identifiable that they're checking, like a badge or something?
There is not anything that the guards themselves are really checking. They're sort of assuming that everyone who is employed here and is dressed in the same succubi attire is assumed to be employees of this location. But you know that they don't really get much further than the VIP lounge at all. There's no indication that anybody's going to the lower levels.
How often are the food carts going into the VIP area?
Oh, pretty much constantly. Every couple of minutes, there's another kind of round of hors d'oeuvres that's sort of being brought in there, mostly to be sort of have noses turned up at and wheeled back out. But certainly, it's very clear whatever these people want, they get.
Are these carts kind of like covered with an underneath area that we can?
Oh
hide
yeah,
in?
oh for sure. But again, the kitchens are also full of people.
The kitchens are also in the opposite direction of where we need to go, if the map is correct.
Correct.
Right, but if we could stow away inside one of them, it would take us past the VIP area.
We could probably do like one person.
Also, the fact that the two of you are sort of standing around and scoping the place out and not gambling sort of begins. You can get the impression that like eyes are slowly starting to turn your general direction as Erie and Warren's performance slowly comes to a.
Shay, if you'd like to make a move to stealth, I will start gambling. I can see that our cover is starting to get blown.
Yeah, we should start gambling.
You also know that, of course, if you lose both of your crystal chips, you guys are going to get escorted out.
And it's the dragon skull game and the
skull rattle and then lasso, which is kind of the card game.
Shall we, my dear?
Well, he was saying that one of you is gambling and one of you is sneaking.
Oh, okay.
You can both gamble. That's fine.
Yeah, just throw the whole plan away and gamble. That would be great.
Yeah, we both get escorted out. We're like, all right. Fine.
Yeah. This is apparently going to be a fucking 2-session expedition, guys. So like, don't get thrown out this one.
You've essentially been given the most distraction you're probably going to get. If you guys are going to make a move, it would be soon.
Switching back to Tychidius for a quick second here, where you guys take a moment to plan.
We're planning. I pinged you something for you to either, yeah.
Y'all can just talk. I don't know.
Seems on you guys. Just ask.
It's a potential hero point, so like I don't want to say it out loud.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think in this case, if you want to just go ahead and make that like a declarative, by all means.
All right. So I'm gonna whisper over to Saiga. Saiga, dear, if you can get into the kitchen and start sneaking around extremely inconspicuously, I'll see if there's Listen, there's a lot of people here that I might know.
All right, just make sure we don't raise more suspicion that we're not gambling
And
or not carrying on.
I'm gonna use a hero point.
Awesome. At this point in time, to you, Benji,
Yes.
even though like Gyvius does okay in sort of the first hand, but not great. We're gonna get back to that in a split second. Tora Glaren sort of like puts her just is out of this next hand. She goes, I need to use the little ladies' room, and gets up and makes her way back into sort of like the main hall. And after emerging from that a moment later, there's a moment where Shay, you make eye contact with this noblewoman, and you realize like you've spent many an evening with Tora before when you were at Wisp in the Water, and she just looks at you and says, Scheherazade?
I is gonna.
Just,
Tora,
oh my god, I love
how
your dress! It just comes right over.
How do I spell that?
Tora.
At this point, I'm going to use a skill check to make my way to the kitchen while this is happening.
Okay. Which skill check? Stealth?
Stealth, yes.
Cool.
Tora, darling, it's been a while. Fancy meeting you here.
He sort of like waves a hand a little bit. She said, I am no good at this gambling thing. We're already 10,000 down.
Oh, that's just tragic.
She sort of shrugs a little bit. It's better luck next week. It's Daddy's money. But what about you? What brought you? Have you finally left that stinky island behind?
In a manner of speaking, yeah. Just kind of, doing a bit of a gap year. Just kind of, seeing some stuff and just kind of trying to, center out. You know that jazz. Just kind of, see around, fool around.
Please, she says, and she purses her lips, please tell me you haven't gotten boring, because I am in desperate need of a date right now. You would not believe the shirtless man who is flashing his nipples at me across the table in the VIP room, no less. I need a date.
Oh my. Well, if it was anything like last time, well, that was an expensive date.
She goes, all that royal jelly, can you believe it?
Oh my god, it was wild.
And she's just like extends a hand to loop into yours, and the two of you saunter back into the VIP room. Saigar, where are you going?
I'm heading to the kitchen.
Why is that?
We are split so many ways.
I'm gonna throw down my sprite just so that like you have a better idea of what's going on.
Hold on a second though.
Yeah.
Zach, you used a hero point. What was your point of your hero point? Sorry.
You'll find
You
out.
know that
Okay. We haven't figured
Specifically,
it out.
the scene that just sort of started to occur is part of the hero point. He
I'm
bailed on you.
I'm stealthing into the kitchen area to hide in a food cart.
Cool. Yeah, I need you to go ahead. Like that was your stealth check to fucking like get in there for sure. There it is. It is full. It is full of people like bustling away and like bumping into you and stuff. Yeah, go ahead and give me another stealth check, but it's gonna be fucking difficult. That's brutal, dude.
What did you say it was? Difficulty what?
Difficulty 20 to fucking get into like just hunker underneath one of these trolleys while people are trying to like go at maximum speed. Yeah, that's gonna be fucking tough, dude.
Oh, jeez.
There's a moment like you have sort of eyeballed your window, right, where you have picked a spot that's underneath like a nearby prep table essentially, and you are waiting for a trolley to like come past and stop next to you, at which point in time you are going to roll directly onto it underneath the cloth, and therefore like move totally silently with your acrobatic speed and get under there no problem. And as you start to roll, and it's it's great, you do not account for the many rhinestones and the costume jewelry on the clothing that you are now wearing. And as you roll, you can just feel them like ting, 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 ting across the metal table as you get underneath there. And immediately, like you just fucking wince, and somebody leans over and pulls up the white cloth that covers it. And as a dwarf goes, "Oi, get Josh out of there!"
I tripped. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, they rush you out of the kitchen and tell you like, if you want anything, talk to a waitress. I'm really the master of all accents, guys.
that was dwarf number 5.
I didn't know
Stop
Brandon's
it.
here.
I'm just kidding. I'm just messing
You're
with
hurting me.
Doing multiple dwarfs is hard because once you've done one dwarven Scottish accent, what do you do for dwarf number 2?
It's
I had
the
the exact same problem. All my dwarves sound the same now.
So can I head towards the privies?
I'm not going to stop you.
Can I take a dump?
No, I was going to see if there's Can I check inside the privies to see if there's any kind of like venting or anything I can kind of crawl through?
There is no venting or anything that you can crawl through in the privies, unfortunately. No. if you were Erie sized, perhaps you could go through the sewage system to the lower levels.
No.
That sounds awful.
It does not sound great.
That sounds like a job for Erie, though.
Sire just fucking like sits in the bathroom, head in the hands for a little while, like, what the fuck are we doing?
I'm still thinking that.
Warren and Erie, your sort of your show finishes. You to fucking thunderous applause from most people, and the one broken table. You're basically like able to step off stage if you would like to. Where at this point in time, you basically have sort of free run of the entire place, basically at your leisure, minus the VIP lounge.
I'll just say one thing before we get off stage.
Oh please.
We'll just me and Warren will just take bows, and I will just say,
Thank you, everyone. Thank you all for coming and seeing us tonight. Thanks for being such a great audience. And just a reminder, we are available for private shows at your any request for the rest of the night.
Oh God, yeah. There's a
Well
couple
done.
of people who like make their way over and they want to know if that you're okay with like kids' birthday parties and so forth and so on. And a couple of them certainly say that like if you're that was incredible. And if you're looking for sort of where the big money is, if you wanted to perhaps speak to Corax, she could get you backstage to the VIP room temporarily.
We
we'll
probably
definitely take
move
him up on that offer.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is there's sort of like some of the people that are quasi in charge, some of the waitresses basically like make their way up to the railing that crisscrosses across the ceiling here, the catwalks and stuff that are otherwise empty. And you can see that one of the waitresses walks up to like the middle of the catwalk and starts talking to midair. And then a moment later, like nods and starts making her way back down and informs you. And she says, so Korak says it's totally fine if you want to just go in there for a split second, promote your show, just be right back out here. She's watching.
Oh, okay. Wait, can you repeat that?
So your show was a huge hit. Korak said that if you want to just slip back to the VIP lounge for a quick second to let the high rollers know that that you are certainly available for a more private show since I missed yours. She's totally okay with that. Just be 5 minutes at most. At any time in the evening that you guys have the opportunity, it looks like you've got plenty of fans who are looking for your attention.
A smile. If we get a sort of suggestion to continue our performance in the VIP room, do we still have to leave quickly?
Well, I suppose probably not, but they don't really like being pestered. And then after a moment, she bites her lip and she says, and also, listen, if you want to gamble, I could also probably, have somebody cover that 100 gold pieces for you so you can get some chips. And, maybe if you lose and need to get ejected, you can call me over for the Devil's Mark.
Oh.
She's flirting with you!
Warren, I think you should take her offer.
No, I give her a little smile. No, I think that sounds pretty good, actually. I'll take you up on that.
She flashes a smile where she's missing one of her back teeth at you, and then goes to fetch a gem board for you, and also just to let you know again that basically as soon as you're ready to go back to the VIP lounge, you've got a couple minutes where this entity called Corax will allow it.
Cool. I'm gonna hold that. I ain't
Yeah.
going yet.
And that, of course, is for both you and Erie, although Erie doesn't get flirted with. That's just his lot in life.
Had to
This
call that
tiny
out.
pixie. It's a little,
I'm going to come out of the washroom at this point and act as a fan for Warren Near because I'm pretending I'm watching the show and a big fan come to meet you.
Okay. You start making your way over and you sort of bump into one of the trolleys and the top of it jostles just a little bit. And just as Erie and Warren kind of look over, Erie, you can see that on this plate, catered by the open range, arranged in like this very beautiful sort of depiction, essentially, are 5 pixies, heads to head, all dead, of course, with just like a splash of like some kind of chutney sauce beneath them to really look elegant. And this particular dish is being taken to the back.
Oh, good God.
That's awful.
God. I look over to Eerie to see if he's okay.
Just completely just flushed. Just kind of staring in horror.
And then Saigar makes his way over.
We can't see any of you, though. But yeah.
Well, you can see me.
Right. Yeah. I let Sagar approach. And now, for a sort of traveling band, that went a little better than I expected. I was nervous up there on seeing
Messieurs, that was the most elegant show ever.
This is the first time I've heard Sagar's accent. And I have to try not
Does
to
he
laugh.
have like the black like pencil mustache?
I'm
my
twirling my fake mustache.
This certainly was. We're in a busy crowd. There's tons of people. You don't have to. It's okay. We talk. There's a lot of people.
I'm assuming you're surrounded by a crowd, though. We don't want to be too suspicious. Like I can't be like leaning over to you, like and like whispering like what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
next.
no, absolutely not. No, for sure. That is a good point. Uh, well, in a little bit, I point over toward the area between the VIP. We're gonna be sort of meeting up to discuss future shows, so we can sort of all talk over there.
I would definitely like to employ you later.
Right. And at this point, since Warren and Erie have essentially finish their act and are sort of standing around, we're essentially waiting to reconvene. Because we don't really know what else is going on. The other three are in the VIP lounge.
Yep. The waitress brings you over the crystal board with the 2 crystal chips and wishes you luck. And tells you basically like, there's always 12 winners. You might be one of them. And then like again, have to get back to work. Call me, right? And then starts going around. But yeah, the 3 of you were sort of stuck still kind of in the lounge while Morgaine and Kyvius and now Shay re-enter into the VIP lounge. Shay, do you speak Elven?
No.
Okay.
So while we're playing cards in this next round, what Kyvius would try to be doing is to strike up conversation about, you know, have you been here before? Do you know anything about, have any of you entrusted your vast riches, because we're all incredibly wealthy, if I was to consider this place as a security measure for valuable items, have any of you done this? What's your experience? I'm looking for information. Specifically, he's trying to get information.
Right.
Yeah, I guess you already know.
I do. Alistair goes to open his mouth and then glances over to Maestro, the fucking whoops of the crowd and the background music to Maestro, who says, "Well, Gaspar doesn't let anyone in the vaults. Period." And then just kind of goes back to his cup where he's sort of staring at the colors moving around in the constant liquid.
So is that to say that you have stored things in his vaults?
He again pauses and looks back and he says, "Really, I'm just I'm just security here. Whatever is in Gaspar's vaults is his business. We don't talk about it. We don't really do storage," he says. Goes back to his drink.
That's unfortunate. I would certainly pay handsomely for some assistance in the well-being of some of my valuables.
and big barbarian guy with just fucking like he basically may as well have fucking called his left arm like mozzarella and his right arm Swiss because he's fucking shredded. And
God,
he
get out.
gives you like a big fucking toothy grin, and he goes, "Well, boss is gonna be around here in probably about an hour anyway. So if you got questions for him, that'll be the time."
Did he say boss?
Yeah.
So you're under his employ?
Oh no, not me. Like the boss of this joint, the guy in charge. Party
I see,
leader.
I see. Well, I'll have to speak with him about that when he arrives then.
And at this point in time, Shay enters, just like whispering and giggling with the woman that is named Tora on arm, and she just says, and she's the woman Tora snaps at some of the waitresses, like, "Get a chair!" And they immediately like panic and run off to do so to bring Shay a spot at the table. And Tora says, "Do you want a few hundred so you can play, or would you rather just watch and cheer me on?"
Oh, I would love to play with you, dear. It's been so long since we played together. Wink, wink.
Just
Oh, boo.
Just not in front of the elf. Come on. And then goes, "James, deal him in, or deal her in," and does so with his. And he's like, you can tell that he's much slower, where it's like pulls a card and sort of throws it across the table like it's a weapon, and pulls a card and throws it across the table. And his hand takes a little while to deal, as I'm sure Shay like gives a glance over to Kyvius and Morgan, and vice versa.
And I've been dealt a card.
Yeah, one, and then it's gonna be two in a moment here. And then
So as I take the first card, I look at Tora, and I kind of like drag it along the table, and then I bring it up to myself and I just run it along my chest, and then look at it.
And I think
Morgaine vomits.
Yeah, I think for me,
He vomits.
I think
A couple screws come out.
I think for me, what I would do is when Tora sat back down with Shay, I would go, "Oh my lady, what an exotic find to add to the table. Would you like to introduce us?" And I would pull back my cape and poke my nipples out a little further.
She wrinkles her nose and goes, "This is Scheherazade. We are, what would you say we are? Old friends?"
We are very intimate old friends. I hold my hand out to Kyvius to kiss.
Oh my god, and he kisses it.
She nods expectantly and then agrees, and then she goes, "Scheherazade is a Shutterkin? Shutterkel? That's the word. She's from a place where it's always dark all the time," and giggles a little bit to herself. So exotic, And then I was slumming it for a little while on Daddy's dime, before going off to Mage Academy. And on summer vacay, I spent some time over on the Gravestone Island, just seeing the sight, seeing where the gods died. And, we got up to some shenanigans. And then she like claps her hands together all excitedly when the plate of pixies is brought in instead of the table nearby. And just, "Oh my god, Scheherazade, you have to try one."
I will try one if you do. And then I'm gonna like grab one and then like put it in her mouth if she does it to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And on three, she says, and basically just holds the pixie's head in your mouth, and then on three, she bites down.
Oh.
And I will bite down also.
Yeah, you can feel this pixie's head crushing within your teeth, and you fucking swallow it down. And then a moment later, she like picks off the wings for the back, and she goes,
Oh.
This is a sort of a more of an acquired taste." But she like crinkles them up and like pours it into her drink, and then takes a big sip.
And then while she's doing that, I'm gonna lick my finger clean, but like leave like the last finger just for just a little bit longer, and just
Oh my god.
give her.
I'm glad you're sharing this with me. They are low in stature but high in calories.
It's gonna go straight to my ass.
I know, something goes straight to your ass, she says, and like James like finishes dealing the last card.
This is getting to be too much for Kyvius. He doesn't know how to deal with this.
I am losing her.
Is there anything else that you guys want to say before I dive back to the other group?
No,
Like check and make sure
no,
we still made no progress.
I'm just gonna
Did-
play cards until.
Did we? Who won the hand?
Well, let's say that like in this particular case, like Maestro wins the hand, and he sort of just like deposits it in a pile next to him with the little phantasmal hands that do it for him. He doesn't even pay attention to. He just continue to sort of stare at the cup. I also wanted to say that for those of you who are sort of stuck outside, Saigar and Warren and Erie, you guys are sort of just trying to find some kind of indication of like how long this has actually been. And I wanted to just let people know that those who have a high enough perception check can look on the list of character sheets, and directly underneath your characters, the very top category is one called temporary, and there's a picture of a clock that that you guys both spot that does not appear to be moving, like the time doesn't appear to be changing, and it's just an example of again one of many different decorations here that has that kind of casino-y theme, where the hands are decorative for the style of the casino itself, but ultimately non-functional.
Sorry, what is this casino clock for? The current time?
It doesn't reflect the current time.
It's not moving at all.
Decoration.
Yeah, it's not working.
Or it is working as intended.
Huh. Good point.
Anything else that occurs?
You guys
Warren.
doing anything in there?
Warren and Erie, if I were to claim your services for another show, could I pretend to be a VIP member? I wonder if that would work.
You've got. I gestured to the room. I had a good view from where I was. You got enough people in there to probably vouch for. They just pretend they know you when you come in, and they'll probably let you in. Thing though, I sort of shake my head. I don't know how we're all going in there, but okay.
How else would we get to the arena and the elevator?
Well, sure. It's just.
I fear our group is too split up right now.
Right. Okay. So go for
Or
it.
do
Yeah.
we want to take a shot at gambling so we don't appear too suspicious?
Let's honestly, you guys just fucking, this plan has gone to shit. You just need to settle in and start recouping your gold.
Yeah. I. There's only one guard in front of the VIP room, right?
There is correct. Yeah, the other one is having a moment, personal crisis in the restaurant.
Yeah, I
Imagine when you were in there, you could hear just like grunting from the stall went over, and then didn't realize it was just like introspective grunting until you were on the way out of it.
The chain devil that is like having like the existential
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, the one who we can't get info out of because he doesn't speak common. He doesn't speak our language.
That was some great RP grunting.
Oh, thanks.
Shall we take our shot at one of the tables?
No, I bring what's his name? Fucking how do I forget Saigar along, and I walk up to with Erie in tow, and I walk up to the one chain devil guard. This person here, a gesture to sorry, my chair.
Fine.
I gesture to Saigar and I say, has I'm saying this to a chain devil, has requested to sort of pay for us to perform for a moment in the VIP room. I've got permission to be in there for a couple moments. Is that all right? I don't want to get
grunts and then looks up at the catwalk again, just staring at nothing, and then back at you and goes "Arr!" and then like gestures you inside, eyeballing your personage for any weapons.
I just have the staff thing.
And you have Saigar, your shrunken bow hidden in a pocket somewhere, I assume.
And I have my shard of transposition. That's correct.
Right. Where is the other bow is left at Old Man's?
That's correct.
Okay, got it. Cool. Yeah, no, you guys are are invited, all three of you, into sort of the VIP area. The party is now sort of together. You've only got a few moments here before this Korax individual, whoever that might be, sort of like make sure you're getting back out of there. And you all sort of turn the corner. Oh, I'm so sorry. I should probably ask. Does Warren speak Elven?
Yes, but as we're going down the hall, before we get in there, I say to Sai, get a good look at the hall and everything in it. How many guards, if there are people.
I'd like to roll a stealth check to remain in the hallway.
Oh God!
There's two guards who are like, you can just sort of stand there, but that's max suspicion, and we'll fucking roll the tracker forward one step.
If I just stand there, it'll be max suspicion.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be really
is there any way to stealth past them, or is it like way too difficult?
Here, yeah, and you're just like,
It's the
no,
hallway.
I'm gonna stand here instead.
And remember, we're one step away from something happening beyond our control.
Yes.
Just getting a good look at the hallway is probably...
Okay, I'd like to perception check the hallway, though.
Sure. So, by all means.
I'd like to see how big the hallway is, the fact, like, is there any, like, alcoves, anything that we can use to our advantage later on?
It is really designed for there to be no hidey holes where, like, the second you walk into this hallway, the fucking eye starts just staring at you. Where it's clearly monitoring your presence. And the only other indication that, like, is of note is that there certainly is a side way down here where you can go, sign up to go bare knuckle boxing in the arena, which we haven't really talked about it yet, but the VIP lounge sort of overlooks that. We're going to talk about the VIP lounge in a second here, but it sort of overlooks the fighting pits below because of that sort of that open air balcony where sometimes people like James, who's like the sort of barbarian type, can peer over the side and watch as though it's like the local game on at the bar. But there's nothing in this hallway that has a place to hide whatsoever, other than the fact that you see, like, at the corner of your eye, the chain devil who's at the far end of the hall steps into the elevator and places his hand along the inside wall, and the doors close and the elevator begins to descend.
Cool. Yes. Oh my God. One problem solution given.
We managed to do one thing.
We got one piece of information.
One useful piece of information in our entire session this evening, boys. Wrap it up. We can sleep easy.
Good. Puzzle solved.
So what's the Elven say?
Yeah, I can read Elven. I'll fucking... Yeah.
As can I.
Good. It says, when I can grab it here, I have to be very, very specific. Sorry. It says the Fallen Queen, where it's that portrait of Erithus where, again, she's just lying dead in some field with that gaping hole in her chest and holding her own heart. And I'm going to talk to Saigar in just a quick second here, but yeah, you guys basically start to sort of round the corner and look into the VIP lounge, just as Tori is talking with Shay about all the things that they've enjoyed before. Snake Eye Goulash, that blue frog tadpole with truffles, you remember that? Oh, and whale chowder with those buttered bat wings on the side. We've had crazy things.
Spoil me.
Yeah, you guys watch or turn sort of round the corner, right, as Saigar, as Shay and this woman go for round two, this time splitting a pixie down the center, like it's the wishbone for a chick.
Oh, an eerie
and splitting one in like some sweet and sour dipping sauce.
Oh.
They're deep fried. They were deep fried alive, as of course is standard.
Why? Gross.
And then I imagine that, like, she gets a little bit of the sauce on her cheek, and I just kind of like lick it off.
It's very clearly that, like, the rest of the table is of various levels of interest in how this is going to play out. some of them are like trying to focus on the game and the winnings, and it's very clear that like the elf, for example, Alistair is more interested in watching the two of you. And Kyvius is just to find Morgaine and Kyvius both are just trying to find anything on the wall to look at, which is how you guys notice that like as the meal that that Shay is enjoying, one of the pixies who had at this point in time been basically like playing dead despite severe injuries, at this point in time, like wings begin to beat and flutter, and it just takes off towards like the open air. And she goes like, oh, right, as soon as it flies off, and right as it hits the spot where open air would be, it's just like that scene from that horror movie where they jumps the gap in the motorcycle, where there is a wall that it just collides with and slams into this transparent, arcane, magical barrier, and it sizzles for a second and goes falling to the ground.
It was in the It was in the ceiling.
Yeah, because
It's
we're in an
the open air balcony.
Right. Okay.
But there is some kind of invisible barrier that prevents people from just jumping off the balcony.
So if you try and commit suicide, you'll be successful, just not in the way you intended. Wait,
Right.
It sizzled her, or or it just knocked her.
It looks like it is not bad enough that like somebody put their hand against it, they would press up against it, you couldn't go through. But because of her size, just a little jolt like dazed her enough that she fell to the ground. And with
Like,
already like the wounds.
Like in Cabin in the Woods when he's trying to jump over on the motorcycle.
Cabin in the Woods is what I'm thinking, but it's not like a fucking like electrical zap. It's just a solid barrier. It's just invisible.
Yeah, you just
slammed right.
Or I imagine it like that scene in like Rick and Morty where like it's like instant death. As soon as you cross the precipice, it's just dead.
I've gotta rewatch Cabin in the Woods. I haven't seen that in ages. That movie.
Alistair snaps his fingers to have one of the waitresses goes, clean this up, please. And James shouts, 5-second rule, and like goes for it, but she's too quick.
I'm looking at Erie basically for like permission. The look in my eye says to Erie, I will blow this entire plan in 5 seconds if you want me to.
and I think
that is the look I give him.
And I think in response to like seeing this happen, flying up, turning back around, at this point I think Kyvius would notice that they've joined us, and I would stand up and say, oh, I didn't make it in here, but I don't know if any of you caught some of the performance this evening. These two, I only saw the very beginning of it before I came to join you fine people, but these two were putting on the most wonderful show out on the main floor. If you get a moment, please introduce yourselves and tell us who you are and what you do, and make sure all these fine people know where they can locate you for future performances.
And is this to sort of everybody at the doorway? Like it's to Warren and Saigar and Erie, all three of them?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, the entire group like turns at the table to look at the three of you. And you can see like Tor's expression, like her brow furrows as she sort of looks and first at Erie and considers it to be a pet, and then sort of just like looks at Saigar for a moment, trying to figure something out. What do you guys say?
Gesture forward. Yes, of course. It's difficult as a performer to get a chance to really show your craft, It's sort of that you're worthless until proven, good. I smile a bit. The view seems sort of hard to get from in here, though.
So the Alistair pipes back and he goes, quite true. In my home city in East March of Mithrandane, we exist in towers that are thousands of stories tall. The view is breathtaking beyond words. You simply have to experience it.
I smile a little. No, it sounds nice. I simply came to our group here. Me and Erie specifically came to offer our services. We're part of a group known as Jam Funk. I smile. And if you would like a show now or later, something we were given permission that we might be worth your time.
A private show. Oh, Tora, please pay them for private show. That would be delightful.
I also gestured to the barbarian guy in the back, and also a little outside of the expertise, and I gestured down to the arena. If for some reason you get too bored, I'm from Epitaph, and having my blood pumping doing something more fun is always worth my time as well.
Smart.
He looks up at this. He says, "That sounds like an incredible plan. As soon as I'm done this bag," he says, "win or lose, you're all mine."
I smile.
Tora.
Same thing. Tora goes, sorry, She looks at Saga. This is gonna sound crazy. Do I know you?
Uh-oh.
And you have to imagine right now I'm using my French accent. I'm going to use a hero point, so my French accent is perfect and flawless, not like my garbage.
Interesting.
Don't need no point for that. No. It's just a skill check.
What is a skill check?
It would just be a bluff skill check. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Can't use them in place of skill checks. I believe in you and your friends.
Be 13.
I believe in you.
We're gonna get back to that in a split second.
Sorry, I just like to imagine it sounds as bad as what Ash does for Beta.
Yeah, that's 100% true. And right before you sort of make this statement, also just to Shay, Tora also agrees. Like, we definitely should get somewhere private, but I really have to finish, these last couple of hands. When there's no money left to be spent, win or lose, we will find somewhere a little private for the two of us. And then she looks back at you and goes, "No, I'm sorry. Who are you?" To Siger.
My name is Octavius Darjeeling. I'm from Epitaph originally.
You live there, she says, and puts her hand in her puts her chin in her hand, looks up at you.
I have lived there. At one point in time.
He says, "Well, that's interesting because Shay and I, of course, we can I call you Shay?" She says, "It's been so long."
Of course.
So Shay and I, we used to live in Epitaph for quite some time as well. Although we were really more about the nightlife than whatever you were interested in. Where did you live? What street? She says. Octavio?
I believe it was a street called Palmerston Crescent.
That doesn't quite sound right, she says. What about what inn did you stay at when you were there?
In between the leaves.
Also doesn't really... Shay, does that ring a bell for you?
No.
You was there longer than I did. What about, I don't know, who was your sort of favorite team to root for the Blessed Hunt?
I didn't really have one.
Well, I mean, who won the years that you lived there? So we can narrow it down a little bit.
Morn is sweating.
Oh, do you know where I've seen him, Tora?
She says and looks back at you.
I have seen him at Wisps.
I did not want to admit that.
No.
But
listen,
I submit.
Shh, Mr. Darjeeling. Listen, Tora. Alright, he,
Sorry, what did you call him, she says?
Whatever he said he was.
Nope!
No.
He called him Mr. Darjeeling.
No. Mr. Darjeeling, that was not the name that he gave.
That is the name I gave.
You said Octavio.
That was the first
You
name.
said
Octavio.
Yeah,
he said
Octavius
Darjeeling.
He said Octavius Darjeeling.
Yeah.
Okay, my mistake. Okay.
First name, but he did give that.
All right. Okay.
I have seen him. I think he fooled around with Fable.
She looks back and goes, "Him? No." And she gives you like an even closer look, like a more appraising look. Shake. But, you give me a bluff check. It is now higher. It is now difficulty 17.
Ooh.
She
can't
snaps
roll
her
above
fingers
10.
and gets up from the table and pushes her chair back and walks directly over to you, Saigar. And she says, Can you take the bandana off? Just for a second. You look like my cousin.
Oh my
Cousin?
god.
Cousin?
She looks back and she says, I'm from House Glaren. Oberon Glaren, who is sort of the son of the current lords of House Glaren, he's the spitting image. Just for a second, the bandana, she says. Oberon, is that you?
Oberon.
I fear, madam, you have me mistaken for someone else.
She says, just for a second. If I'm wrong, I'll know. Just the bandana.
I dare not, dear lady. I have a terrible scar here.
It doesn't bother me. Oberon, is that you?
Oh god. All of us are too paralyzed.
Yeah, I have no
all of us
idea
want to
what
know
to do.
too bad to stop him.
I tried. I tried. But now Shay is fascinated.
Are we ever gonna finish this card game? I say as I sweep out my arms and knock a glass of red wine into her dress.
No, she's standing up. But I fucking love you knocking over the glass of wine onto the fucking table that like leaks onto the
Signal.
pixie a little. It is the signal, the red wine signal.
I love it.
But she stares at you and waits for you to remove the bandana.
I'm not sure how to.
I think you gotta remove the bandana.
Remove the bandana.
We are about to find out.
She claps her hands together and does like the left leg bend at the knee up in the air, and she goes, "Oberon, it is you. Where have you been? Father and mother are gonna be so worried." And she jumps forward to give you a big hug.
Oh no. What have we done?
Want to go ahead and draw everyone's attention again to a moment that we had in the catacomb where Kyvius had saw a portrait of the Lord of House Glaren and the servant that grew poor and died while the Lord grew rich. And I want everyone to be aware that in this moment, when Saigar is standing there uncomfortably, when Oberon is standing there uncomfortably with arms thrown around him in this high-stakes sort of VIP lounge casino, it's very clear to everybody that, he should be here. He is a VIP. He comes from one of the wealthiest families in High Helm, if this is to be believed. And I want just to draw everyone's attention to the look on Kyvius's face. And I think this is the note we end the game on, guys.
Well, so
We'll finish this casino in 4 months.
Yeah.
the 2-part heist.
The 3-part heist is
Yeah,
what it's turning into.
two parts is getting a little aggressive there. While
Let
you need
let
to slow
us
your
summarize.
roll. Yeah.
Let us summarize of our objectives what we accomplished. We learned that there's chain devils that gain access to the elevator.
Yeah.
Good job, everyone.
We've got chain devils. No,
It's done-
and we all have VIP access.
And it's done by Rune.
Yeah. It's a rune on their hands.
We have no idea what that eye does in the hallway.
Well, it's
no, we
Louis'
know
spine.
exactly what it does. Oh
We
yeah,
need
that
to-
was.
So we need to trick the eye, knock out a chain devil, get the chain devil in the elevator, and then go.
You can ignore that one. That was the wrong click. I was looking at passive stats. I also forgot. I wanted to one more thing really quickly before you go. Morgaine, Shay, and not Saigar. The three of you with your ridiculous passive perception scores. You notice that the colors that have been moving in the glass that Maestro has been staring at the entire time, where he's never taken a sip of this liquid in the time that you've been here, he's just sort of staring and fixating, is very clearly a reflection distorted in the glass of the hallway.
It's
He
fucking
is the
him!
one monitoring it.
He's the guard!
What?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as soon as he was introduced.
He's the okay.
Yeah.
So let me explain the Arcane Eye. Arcane Eye is essentially a spell that reprojects the image, but it doesn't project it in the way that you think of when you think sci-fi tech. It projects it onto a smooth surface anywhere within the caster's range. So our fucking friend is looking at his glass while playing cards, and he's watching the hallway. He's the guard.
I see.
And that's sort of the pieces. So we need to like spill something in his drink
Well,
and then just leave.
we all know him, so we've got other avenues too.
Yeah.
He knows all of us, which is also dangerous.
Yes.
And I cannot take back the fact that I challenged the barbarian to a fist fight in the blood of
I mean, listen. You
This
will
can
be
only
Tora
go
and I's
perfectly.
champion, but I feel like Saigar is going to be the fucking.
And we have this, yeah.
Damn.
Can we spend more hero points if they go like, please?
Ash, are you mad at me?
No, I don't know what to do
It's
right
just
now.
stunned.
Well, what you did was you rolled really badly.
Yeah,
my
that's
dude.
true. I really rolled very badly.
It was so funny, fucking because I'm gonna just turn this fucking play that you guys off song here. It was so funny because fucking Ash messages me. He's like, "Fucking shit, is Tora gonna recognize me immediately because I'm, I haven't seen her for years?" And I'm like, probably not. The only thing that's gonna give you away is if your companions were to draw like direct attention to you. And then the second I said it, Benji's like, "Oh, let me just draw everyone's attention to the 3 people here." And I was like, "Yeah, fucking like that."
Well, they were gonna get kicked. They were gonna get kicked out, so I had to keep them there longer.
How do you
They
know we
only
were going to
had-
get kicked out?
They
I had a plan.
Yo,
listen.
I banged your cup.
Oh, no, I didn't even think about that.
I'm sitting here, nips out. Okay, I'm bearing all. I've got nothing to hide.
Oh.
Neither should you.
Oh.
Saigar.
Oh, just wait until Tora and I find a private room later.
Well, okay. Well, this isn't so bad. Okay, right? We've got the Chain Devils. We know that he never lets anyone down into the vaults.
Yes.
Which means price staff. The Chain Devils fucking communicate. We know that there's some secret bullshit watching us from the rafters. That one's the worst one.
What?
By the name of Korax.
Korax. Yeah.
Korax. Yeah.
Korax. The Chain Devils essentially communicate with Korax. And that's how their guard functions. And we know,
almost bumped into that with the Eerie clone that was in the rafters.
Yeah, almost. And we know how the hand thing works, that it's a sigil that we might be able to probably not duplicate, but
Chop off
we
one of their
know how the camera works, yeah. I still have my power to if we get lucky and take them by surprise, knock multiple people unconscious. And that will probably be helpful. This one, that one. So
We only have our encounter powers back there, right? We have not rested long enough for our dailies.
Nope.
have we?
That is correct.
So we've got a lot of good pieces,
Hey,
right?
I still have
gotta figure out
Mother
what's new.
Deer's finger.
Oh.
I'm sure we can use that for something.
There are 0 to 3 fights that could exist in the casino. That next session might just be back-to-back unfortunateness.
0 to 3. Interesting.
0 to 3.
0 to 4.
I have a
I'm
feel-
fighting the barbarian.
I have a feeling that Warren
I'm
is
counting
going
that
to be on his own for that one, while like half of us are just watching.
I'm hoping
Well-
that maybe I can stir a big enough shitstorm to draw guards. Maybe.
Oh, that makes sense.
I'll do that.
Sure. Yes.
Maybe Ash should do the recap.
I should do the next recap.
That's true.
You already asked it, yeah.
Give me 1 second, Sue.
Well,
Yeah, no worries.
we're going fisticuffs if we run into anything because we got no weapon.
You say that.
Well, I
but
don't
got
have
two
any
bows.
Kyvius has his implement, and
I have a bow, and I have my transport shard. I can pull the other bow if needed. I can dual wield bows.
Which
I mean,
the
I think
second
it's like
bow has a
all but
chance
me
to
and
fail.
Warren then. Oh, that works.
You guys are going to get into a fight, but I'm going to be too busy banging Saigar's cousin.
Just to quickly
Now that
clarify with you, Ash, I wanted to check on this one earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt too much. The bow that is part of the orb of the shard of transposition, rather, that's your magical bow, right?
No, that is not. That is my non-special bow.
Okay.
So the one that Eerie shrunk down is my magical bow.
Got it.
Yes.
Just in case the Shadow Transmission decides to, nat 1 and I destroy both the objects.
I'm also good. This staff is an implement. The one that I brought in as part of my costume is. I can do everything except for this power. I can do that. Okay.
You guys are going to go back and listen to the fucking Twitch stream for you guys getting the plan for this place and be like, all right, subdue one of the guards in the main foyer because that's where Morgraine's the best spot would be. And realize, like, oh, we didn't do any of our plan.
Well,
our entire
we
plan kind of
couldn't.
went to shit.
It's because you have to assume that, like, you can make a plan, but then, like, what's the plan when you fail the roll?
Yeah,
Well,
I tried.
we
I
rolled
tried.
That's ultimately what it
horribly.
is.
The plan was thrown out the window the minute that we couldn't all get in the way that we wanted to. Like that was.
The fact that we think about the gold entrance and stuff.
What casino charges an entrance fee?
I mean, listen, like, I'll be fine. Like, Saigar's cousin is gonna sugar mama me.
I know you keep bringing attention to this, and I don't know why. We get
I just have to make him uncomfortable.
And it's actually like worrisome because like we can't pay attention to that. We're fucking going to be go next session.
The thing
This is
about
also pose a problem because now that we have people who recognize one of us,
you've got the full attention of her. Well,
You're gonna have to pretend that you're here, like, alone.
The thing also is that we wanted to apprehend a guard, but we've learned everything that we were hoping to learn from apprehending a guard from not apprehending them, so that's okay.
Yeah.
But now
Yeah,
if
I
we had a
suppose
guard
that's true, but
apprehended, we could take his
we
hand.
could take his hand. Yeah.
Luckily,
That's a good pun you could have
crying
done
in the
there.
bathroom.
There's also one other problem. I know, I wanted to go to the guy in the bathroom, but I just didn't fucking...
I'll take fucking out of context quotes for 300.
We don't know what to do about the crushing trap.
Nope.
That's a big...
We haven't learned anything about the crushing trap.
I have an idea. Probably won't work, but I'll try it.
Unlikely that what's his face is gonna let us let me down there to see it.
We just stick the shield in it and cross our fingers. Kiovas's shield says it can't be broken. We just see what happens. Anybody up for rolling dice on that one?
I will tell you that my biggest concern for the casino arc is that if you guys did not get to the crushing trap or the walls this session, it is going to be significantly more difficult for reasons that will become clear after you finished it. So
let's play for another hour. Get it in the session.
I was about to say, what does it have to do with the?
I mean, I could keep going.
Well, what's it have to do with the number of sessions, though?
I can't explain that. You're just gonna have to trust me and then look back afterwards.
Does it have to do with the suspicion meter?
But why would that go up if we're not raising?
So anyway, I mean, fucking, you guys all stay up for like another hour anyway. We can't keep playing D&D. 4 hours.
Yeah, Claire has to go.
4 hours. That's our rule. We spent the first hour hanging out with the old man and talking about plans.
We wasted some
Spent the subsequent hours throwing that plan completely out the window.
I don't know what to... I mean, we
need to do improv classes together.
I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, but I'd be like, being eerie, fucking put on a show. Kyvius went and distracted, and then I feel like Team Subterfuge got fucking cock-blocked hard.
Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna flip things off here. Good night, any watchers, if you're still around.
Good night, any watchers, and Rosie.
And Rosie.
I mean,